2,000 Israeli Air Force veterans signed an open letter last week calling for an end to the war in Gaza. The military responded immediately, saying it would dismiss any active reservist who signed the document. But in the days since, thousands of retired and reservist soldiers across the military have signed similar letters of support. The growing campaign, which accuses the government of perpetuating the war for political reasons. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Officials in Puerto Rico say power has been restored to almost 99% of electric customers after an island-wide blackout hit the U.S. territory earlier this week. More than 1.45 million people had electricity less than 48 hours after the outage started. That according to Luma Energy, which oversees the transmission and distribution of power on the island. Townhall.com. A popular college sports broadcaster is calling it a career.
Lee Corso's nearly 4-decade run on ESPN's College Game Day is coming to an end. Corso, the longtime ESPN broadcaster and former coach, widely known for his endearing expressions and elaborate headgear picks, is set to retire after a career with the show that began in 1987, ESPN announced. The network said his final broadcast will be August 30th, week 1 of the 2025 college football season. The network added additional programming to celebrate Corso is also planned. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
A federal judge has imposed new restrictions on the Department of Government Efficiency's access to Social Security systems that hold the personal data of millions of Americans. U.S. District Judge Ellen Hollander issuing a preliminary injunction in the case brought by a group of labor unions and retirees. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Good Friday, everybody.
Just one. Actually, for the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
There you go.
Yeah.
Happy Good Friday. I don't know. I never know the proper greeting for Good Friday. Good Friday, Good Friday. Mm-hmm. Happy Good Friday. I don't
Actually,
know.
the proper greeting.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's not today. You're supposed to say He is risen. He is risen
that'd be
indeed, but
Sunday.
that's He hasn't risen yet.
It's just Good Friday, I guess. And not to be jokey, but sir,
that's what we do.
There's been a lot better Fridays than this.
There have been fantastic.
I mean, we call this
Fridays.
Good Friday, but there's been way better Good Fridays.
I mean, what do we have to do to get this holiday moved up to Fantastic Friday?
But yes, Happy Good Friday.
Which diocese do we need to talk to?
The Holy Week.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, many are off today.
Yes.
No mail, no stock markets, all that kind of stuff. Probably a lot of. I mean, I'm going to guess all the retail and all that's open today. But like if you got to do banking or anything like that, good luck.
Sorry. Yep. And it's a dual weekend. I actually was just doing on my random facts. The Easter has fallen on 4/20 just 3 times in the past 95 years, and they're all recent. It's 2003, 2014, and I think it said 2018. But it won't happen again until 2087.
Feels like Easter's been later recently.
So the way it works is...
Or it was early a while back because it seemed like it was in March forever, and then now it's been in April.
It aligns with the vernal equinox.
Yeah, I knew it was something to do with that. I'm not.
So
I didn't do good science and math.
Well, the only reason I know this is because I literally just read it. It can fall anywhere between March 25th and March 10th, I think, sometime in March, and April 25th.
All right.
So we're not even as late as we could be with it, but we're close.
I'm pull back Kurt. My birthday is April 25th, and my mom told me that, I guess 1973, the year of my birth. I guess Easter was late that year, and I was almost an Easter baby.
Oh, darn it!
Almost, but not quite.
Swinging out. Well,
just a bit outside
on the foul line. We'll call it. It's funny how moms always have those fun stories. Like mine was that I was born during the 1984 Olympic Games in LA, and the mascot was Sam the Olympic Eagle, which is why my first two initials are S and A for the SA Sam.
Nice.
Yeah. And my real life last name is McKellar. So, it works out. It works out in the real world. So, but that's what she says she did.
Now everyone guessed the A.
I've said it before, I'm sure.
I know. I just wanted to see what Aloysius.
Yep. That's it. Adamsley. Actually, I did just give it away. It's Adam.
I knew that.
It's pretty simple. Yeah.
Not to brag.
For about 6 months in high school, I put Sean on the shelf for a little while and was trying to get people to start calling me Adam. It didn't stick.
No.
I didn't feel like an Adam.
No. Mm-mm. Well, I ain't gonna lie. When I think of Adam, I think of Batman.
Yeah.
Because I think Adam West.
Adam West.
Batman. So when I hear Adam, I'm like, I'm Batman.
My nickname, for my middle name was Bruce, then
that's ultimate. Yeah. If your name's Adam or Bruce, I automatically think of you as Batman.
That's fair.
Unless you're a woman, of course.
Bruce is
a tough... your woman's name Adam.
Bruce would be a tough sell in high school, though, I'd imagine. Like, I can't imagine Bruce Willis had had an easy time in high school.
But Bruce Wayne probably did.
Oh, yeah, because he was in private school.
Well, Bruce Lee, I'm sure he was fine.
Oh, whipped their butts if they said anything.
You're going to make fun of Bruce Lee? I mean, come on.
Right. First day of school, he beat up the biggest kid in the hallway. Nobody messed with him.
Well, there's a difference. If your name's Bruce, then you're right. But if your name's Bruce, then
Bruce,
then it's different.
Brucey. Anything with an IE. There's only like 2 people on the planet that are allowed to call me Shawnee.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of them's my sister and the other one's my mom.
Very few people call me Mikey.
Yeah.
Usually, and it's usually no one family. If either call me Mike or if it's like my aunt, my mom did, but a couple others. Not very many call me Michael.
Michael. Yeah.
But that's like 2 people.
I feel like Michael is when you know you're in trouble. It's like with me growing up.
It depends on who said it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With me growing up, it was always Sean Adam.
One of my favorite deals is, and this is a hockey reference, but there's he used to play for the Washington Capitals. He was a pretty good player. His name's Craig Laughlin. But he played back in the 80s. But for many years, he's been one of the announcers for the Washington Capitals hockey team. And he's a charismatic dude. He's just a funny guy. Matter of fact, he just went through a cancer battle and he's just getting back into the booth. So everyone's there's a big Locker Strong campaign going on right now. But anyway, that's his nickname, Locker.
Nice.
But hockey's a sport where they love to nickname everybody. And so, yes, if you he likes to put the Y or IE on just about everybody's last name.
Right.
And if you can't do that, then he goes with Big. So if hey, Jonesy's got the puck, he passes it to Smitty. Smitty on to David, Big David. Or if he can't put an IE on it, I mean, like David he could, but there's certain names he could. So he throws in and there's Big Sven.
Big Sean Forrester coming through.
No, he'd do a Shawnee. I've heard him do Shawnee.
I would be fine with Shawnzy. I don't know about Shawnee.
He goes Shawnee.
I don't like you. I have to bring this up. This is a pretty funny post that Mike put up last night. I went away. Okay, if the Stanley Cup playoffs started today, we'd get a first-round clash between the Capitals and Canadiens. And Alex Ovechkin would be all over it because who could forget the time he torched the Habs for a hat trick and then snapped a photo with their moms.
That's a true statement.
That's fantastic.
And guess what? Playoffs start this weekend. Guess who they're playing? The Canadians.
You almost have to read that in an accent. He torched the Habs for a hat trick and then snapped a photo with their moms.
That did come from Canadians, so yes.
Well, in that case, it would be, he torched the Habs for that hat trick and then snapped a photo with their moms.
That sounded more Irish.
It was deep, strange brew is what I was kind of leaning into.
Yeah, you just gotta.
We got our own kind of bacon, back bacon.
Yeah. Vote. Ovechkin's vote that.
It is so funny when you hear like naturalized like Canadians who have come to America and they've got our vernacular down, but they still say a boot. And the one who's notorious for this is Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
He will always, and he used to find ways to put the word about into his promos. He goes, "This is a boot respect. This is a boot culture."
Yeah.
But everything else just sounded like he was just one of us, and then he'd drop it in a boot.
I've also noticed, and I've never been here personally, but I've talked to people from like northern Michigan or anywhere that's like border, and some of those folks, they'll get you a boots too.
Yeah.
They slip some of boots.
Yeah, there's sort of their own like Michigander.
I mean, you got to get away from the Minneapolis area where you get the prowler need you jumping, you know, all the Fargo talk.
Don't you know?
Yeah, all that Fargo talk. Where's Pancake's house?
Well, didn't you hear about that? He stuck his best friend into an auger.
I think I'm going to barf. Now it's past.
It's gone.
Now I'm hungry. It's a great movie. Love Fargo. Top 10 movie for me. Absolutely. Fargo.
That's what I need to go back and watch. I've seen it one time, but I was young.
And one of my favorite William H. Macy movies.
And he never ceases to amaze me.
Well, and he's clean cut. But clean cut looking, but he's a criminal plot trying to kidnap his wife.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Well, in case you haven't seen it, it's been out for 25 years.
Yeah. You've had time.
I think Frances McDormand won an Oscar for that, didn't she?
I believe so, yeah.
If she did, and it kind of set her up for the next thing to get the Oscar. But I think she got the Oscar for that one, or at least nominated.
Let's find out. But my eyes keep getting drawn to your Bloods napkin over there. I got a bandana napkin yesterday.
Pretty cool.
And I just
in a bolo.
It really. I like that you put it on big flat Mike.
Big fat Mike is sporting the bolo now.
That's awesome.
Let me give you the rundown while Sean's looking up that statistic. We got a full slate for you for today's show. Here in just a few minutes, we're going to have the pastors from Victor Outreach here in Roswell join us, Pastor Pat and Pastor Phil, talking about Good Friday service, Easter service, all that good stuff happening this weekend. In the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15, we're going to have Chavis County Manager Bill Williams join us. Yesterday, County Commission met, so we'll get the highlights, the good, the bad, and the ugly from that. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, I wish I was paying more attention, but I believe it'll be Chris Whipperman joining us here to talk some Mind Probe trivia. I wrote Chris Mark trivia. In my head, I think he's doing Mark Twain trivia.
Oh,
but I'm not. I don't. And then I tried to look online and I couldn't find nothing. Man. So I wrote 3 words, and I'm trying to remember what I wrote 2 weeks ago. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm having a little trouble remembering what I wrote.
It seems like every time I have some free time that I can go to trivia.
Yeah,
it's about something I don't know jack about. Like last time, it was like 90s trivia. We were sitting at the.
You don't know anything about 90s?
No, I know everything about the 90s, sir. No, I didn't have. I had my kids the night he was doing it.
Oh, so you were not available for 90s. Trivia.
Right, but we were sitting at the table at Thomas's house, and he was just going through a list of questions, and I was just like, boom, 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 and just I could answer them no problem.
We have an advantage of being radio people.
Well,
we
that
absorb things.
I also perpetually on YouTube. Like I don't watch series of things. One of my favorite channels on YouTube is called Weird History, and they just talk about like the bizarre side of history, both pop culture and like one of the things I just learned recently. Did you know Pop-Tarts are called Pop-Tarts because they came out during the pop art revolution of the 60s?
Ah.
So to lean in, they were originally called like microwave, like, pastry, some lame name.
Okay.
But they adopted the name Pop-Tarts off of pop art.
Toasties? Wasn't that their competitors?
Yeah, I think it was like Toasties or something like that.
Yeah, I think I kind of remember seeing a History Channel thing about Pop-Tarts, and I don't remember all the thing, but yeah, I remember some of it, but not all. But yeah, I love all that stuff too.
Maybe I should bone up on my Mark Twain. Speaking of boning up on fun facts, and I used to.
Sam Clemens.
That's
his real name, actually. Mark Twain's his
his real name.
Yeah.
The 1996 film Fargo was nominated for 7 Academy Awards and won 2. Best Actress for Frances McDormand and Best Original Screenplay for the Coen Brothers. Nice. It was also nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Supporting Actor, Best Film Editing, and Best Choreography.
Prowler needs a jump. All right, it is 7:18. Here is your weather, which, you know what? It's not going to be great today. It's not going to be great tomorrow. But Easter Sunday, the clouds part, and we have a beautiful day.
He is risen, so is the sun.
Yeah, so here's your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We'll have some sunshine today, but we have a cold front dropping in. Very gusty wind at 40 to 50 miles per hour. We'll stay in the low to mid 80s through the day, but we should get some sunshine. Few clouds overnight, mid 40s and windy. We do have a slim chance of a shower on Saturday. It'll be mostly sunny though, and our afternoon high about 70. Still fairly cool on Sunday, mid 70s and sunny. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 62 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 24%. Winds are, says variable, at 7 miles per hour. We do have a wind advisory that will kick in at 9 a.m. this morning. We also have a red flag warning that will kick in at 8 a.m. this morning. And then a fire weather watch for tomorrow already between 11, kicking in at 11. But for today, areas of blowing dust for the afternoon. Sunny, cooler, near 80 today. They're saying 79 now. But the winds will be up out of the southwest early, 20 to 25 miles per hour. As the day progresses, those winds will increase 30 to 35 miles per hour. Could see wind gusts as high as 50 miles per hour later today. Tonight, mostly clear, overnight low of 46. The winds continue to blow. They'll be out of the west, 20 to 30, gusting as high as 45 miles per hour. I think they say they could drop down a little bit after midnight there. They don't really give me the totals, but doesn't look much. Saturday, there is, he mentioned slim chance. It is now a 20% chance of showers for your Saturday. They're talking mainly for the afternoon. Mostly sunny and 73, and winds will be breezy, 15 to 20. So not as bad as today, but still. Saturday night, we're still looking at a 20% chance of rain as well. Mostly cloudy, overnight low of 41. Northwest winds 15 to 20, gusting as high as 30 miles per hour. Those winds will drop down 10 to 15 after midnight. And then Easter Sunday, nice. Sunny skies, a high of 75. Winds out of the northwest at 10 miles per hour. For Monday, sunny at 82, and looks like we'll be mid-80s for Tuesday, Wednesday, and at least through Thursday of next week, mid-80s. So, little wind, well, a lot of wind. Today, tomorrow, Easter good. Looks like it'll be nice here on after that. All right, it is 7:21. We're going to take about a 2.5-minute break, and then we'll talk with the folks from Victory Outreach, talking about Good Friday, Easter Sunday, all their services. Don't go away.
Some wounds need expert care to heal properly. At Artesia General Hospital's Wound Care and Hyperbaric Medicine Center, we use advanced treatments like hyperbaric oxygen therapy to help chronic wounds heal faster. If you or a loved one has a wound that won't heal, call 575-736-8235 today and take the first step toward recovery.
If you're missing a tooth or several teeth, a dental implant may be the ultimate solution. Implants look and feel so much like real teeth that you probably forget you have an implant. Maupin & Brown Dentistry is one of New Mexico's most experienced implant providers, with literally thousands of implant patients who are absolutely delighted with the results. Call Maupin & Brown today for an evaluation. You'll be surprised how affordable implants can be. Maupin & Brown, your choice for experienced, state-of-the-art dentistry.
Lyrics of an old hymn titled One Day paint a beautiful picture. One day the grave could conceal him no longer. One day the stone rolled away from the door. Then he arose, over death he had conquered. Now is ascended my Lord evermore. Living he loved me, dying he saved me. Buried he carried my sins far away. Rising he justified freely forever. One day he's coming, oh glorious day. What a great song. Prior to his death, Jesus shares the following words as he consoles a friend who had lost her brother. He says, "I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live even though they die, and whoever lives by believing in me will never die." He gave these words to comfort not only Martha, but also to comfort and support us as we journey through this life. By dying, Christ destroyed the power of death. By rising, he restored our life. Easter is the day the world may celebrate this, but it's worth celebrating every day. We welcome you to join us this Sunday as we celebrate the power of the resurrection.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
At Richland Motors, it's never been easier to sell or trade your current car, truck, or SUV for a newer model to hit the road in. Even if you don't purchase from Richland, they want to buy your vehicle for top dollar. But if you do buy from Richland, don't forget, they're the home of the powertrain warranty for life. That's a whole lot of confidence for you. See Richland for details. 2nd and Sycamore and 1309 Southeast Main.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The catfish has over 27,000 taste buds. Do you think they prefer fried or blackened? Here's Mike Winters.
That's a bad joke when you think about it, but that's all right. Good morning. It is 24 minutes after 7 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning, it's been a minute since we've seen these guys, but Pastor Pat Laney, Pastor Phil Wood with Victory Outreach here in Roswell back with us. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Happy Easter.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing?
We're doing really good, Mike.
Doing great. You guys are, it's kind of funny. We were just talking a little bit right before, just several years ago, not that long ago.
Yeah.
You guys were literally didn't have a building. You just had a group of people and a goal.
Yeah.
And here we are in 2025, and Victory Outreach is a full-on independent, got its own church. It's got its, obviously had some great support from community. We talk about, your home over with Pastor Blake over there, and he was, that vital in keeping you guys going. But
absolutely,
now you're kind of broken off from that under the wing there, and now you guys are just going and just growing and doing your thing.
It was just 4 years ago, and we came here with 4 people, me, my wife, and Phil and one other, and we were meeting inside of a house. Someone let us use their living room, and we were having church inside of a house.
So many pizza rolls.
Yeah. And then just step by step,
Sure.
God opened the door. Pastor Tom let us in to have church inside of their beautiful building at the Presbyterian.
I still love that's one of my favorite. Just the wood. The
architecture is awesome.
I love the wood. It's awe-inspiring but comfortable at the same time.
Yeah.
Like Catholic churches, and the cathedrals are beautiful and ornate, but still you kind of feel like you're like that church pulls that off where it feels ornate, but you still feel like you're in your living room.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And on the inside with the stained glass, and they have this beautiful cross in the background.
I love that. It's a beautiful facility there.
Very nice.
But you guys now are
we just bought our own building. It's going to be a little bit over a year ago, so we're right there on Sycamore and Alameda, right on the corner. It's 120 seater, and it's been filling up pretty good.
Nice.
We've been doing really good.
So obviously we're going to talk here about Good Friday service and Easter and all that here, but like what's the plans next overall? Like because obviously you keep growing and growing. And
well, eventually we'd like to go to double services for a season while we raise money, and then eventually look for a bigger building.
Need to go and add more steeples to the top.
Absolutely. I mean, we have a beautiful vision.
Absolutely.
God gave Pastor Sonny, our founder, that just recently passed on to be with the Lord. We were just there at the funeral, over 7,000 people at the funeral. But a beautiful vision of reaching the treasures out of darkness, and like we were. I'm an ex-meth addict from Roswell. Phil's an ex-heroin addict.
This is the part, for folks that know, Victory Outreach, now it's a church for everybody. There's no, it's come on in. You don't have to have an issue. If you just want to get closer to God and family, then you're in the right place. But, this really started, and it's really people that have fell off the path, that have hit bottoms, that have seen the darkest places that life can go sometimes.
Well, when Victory Outreach first started, they were calling it the junkie church.
Yeah,
it was the drug addict church. It was all that. It was,
sure.
And back in the 60s, there was a saying: "Once a junkie, always a junkie." Mm-hmm. And it's one of the first ministries of its kind that said, no, we can build a church on drug addicts and their families because God can deliver. And that's what happened.
Absolutely. And I would argue, once an addict, always an addict, but not a junkie. That's the difference. If you are an addicted personality, you're going to have to deal with that the rest of your life. However, that doesn't make you a junkie. That's what because that's the struggle. It's no different. Like if you have a diagnosis of cancer, guess what? There's going to be certain medicines, certain things you got to do for your rest of your life. Same thing with an addict. There's certain things they've got to do.
You might be right, Mike, because I got this problem with ice cream right now. I think you might be onto something.
I wouldn't call it a problem.
It's definitely a problem.
I have no problem eating.
Dairy Queen knows what they're doing.
But you're right. It's kind of, and that's what we want to say is, and by all means, if you're struggling, if you're dealing with whatever vice in your life, whatever's ailing you here, and Victory Outreach is there. They still got the home. Everything that they started with is still there. Yeah. But but here's the other thing: is if you're just looking for a church home on Sundays,
absolutely,
there's no requirement saying you had to deal with all this stuff to get here. You're more than welcome to come on in. But I think you will. But for folks that are, put it this way: there's a reason we have church. There's a reason we're not all perfect. We all fall off the path. That's the point, is to help each other when we do fall off the path, or when we get. This is why we're doing this weekend. Jesus, took care of business for us today.
Absolutely.
So we are all forgiven, no matter what we do.
Speaking of that, Mike, if we can make a quick plug for our Victory Home.
Yeah, let's talk
here
about
in
that,
Roswell.
Well, actually, the church isn't the only thing we purchased in this past year. We actually own our own Victory Home now.
Nice.
We're not renting anymore. We own it. But the Victory Home here in Roswell, we have a free home for men who are struggling with drugs, alcohol, depression, life, right? Being in the streets.
Yeah, vices, life.
Whatever it may be. It's a completely free home. It's a home that changed Pastor Pat's life. It changed my life. We went through the home in Albuquerque, but it's completely free. And if anyone wants any information, they can give us a call at 575-291-4107. Also, we don't have a women's home currently in Roswell, but if you know any women who are struggling, you could always give us a call at 575-291-4107. We could try to get you placed out into one of our other women's.
There's resources
homes
within the outreach,
yes.
And I'm going to get, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because sometimes, getting out of the neighborhoods and the circles you're in to begin with is a big help to get you back on the path.
And one thing about our home is it's not just about, hey, I need to get off the dope.
Right.
Like we call that the Holy Ghost setup. That's what we're a home where men can come in and really, I tell the guys, it's a place to get a touch of heaven.
Sure.
That's really what the Victory Home is about.
And that's what I think. And this is where I would like to, for folks, because I'm going to take most addicts, they don't quit the first time and succeed. A lot of times there's trials and errors, and sometimes they succeed for a while. I mean, that's life. But I'm telling you, for folks that have walked that path, where you guys succeed, where others fail, is it's, and this is what I believe. When it comes to rehab programs and things like that, yes, they will get you off the physical addiction. They'll lock you in the room and do whatever you got to do to wean you off of whatever you're addicted to. Problem is, after that, what do? It's like, all right, you're off. Good luck to you. And most people don't do drugs and alcohol, whatever their vice is, because it's just fun. They're doing it because they're filling a hole in their life. Something, whatever it is, there's things missing, and they're self-medicating. That's what's going on there. And so if you get them off the physicality of it, but you don't fix the hole that they were trying to fill to begin with, then they're probably going to go back to that thing. And that's where you guys come in and say, no, we're fixing the hole. This stuff's a Band-Aid. We're filling the hole. We're healing the hole. So you don't have the Band-Aid anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, the only thing that fills that hole is Jesus, is in their relationship
God's
with Christ.
Love. Yes.
But then also one of the core values of our ministry is the community of it. And that's one of the greatest things when I went to the home and got out of the home, I found a place in a community. And it was like the people. I became family. So I never, I was always out of place. And I was looking for all that community. And it's like, I found it in Victory Outreach. I found a new family.
Love heals all, man. And it's God's, and that's, and you always hear those saying about, love kills all of, you always hear that. It's true. If enough love and enough faith, you can get through it.
Yeah.
You can figure out a way. It may not be the path you thought it was going to be, but it's going to be a path to get you through.
It's not the easy road either, but it's worth it.
Your plan and God's plan may have not been the same, but it may, he's put you parallel. You might have a few off ramps, but he's put back on the highway here.
Yeah. Yesterday on my way to church, the staff in the home, Brother Bryce, he had messaged me. He's like, Brother Phil, what is it that keeps you? He's like, I know prayer, fasting. Not that I do all kinds of fasting. Right? The word of God. And I told him, what's honestly kept me, and I heard this from one of our elders out in California, is he said it, and I told him, I love God. I filled that hole with God. I love God. I love people. I love what it is that God has done in my life.
You have a higher purpose.
Yeah, and that's exactly why, like Pastor Pat was saying before we came on air, just don't give up.
Sure.
I had a give up attitude before when I was in the world, and I kind of tried my best to switch that.
Sure.
And then when you love God, it pushes you in times that you normally wouldn't think, because you're using His strength, not yours.
Exactly.
So it's what gives me my strength to move on.
It's that kind of thing where everything we do here on Earth is minuscule in the big picture. If that, you know what I mean about, and we get upset about. They didn't have our favorite sandwich at the restaurant. You know what I mean?
Right?
This stuff.
Get me in the flesh.
And I'm like, and we all get so wrapped up in this world, and I'm like, it's all minuscule, man. It doesn't matter in the big scope. You know what matters? It's what you put out there and what you believe and what you and that's what God wants. And I guarantee when you leave this realm and go on to the next one, you're not going to care about the cheeseburger flavor of the month or any of that kind of stuff. You're going to carry. The big things is how you treated people, who you loved, who you served, who served you, that's what it's all about. It's not in this. And I know it's hard to see the forest from the trees sometimes, but trust me,
we spend so much time wasting time on things that don't matter.
Yes.
Our founder, I love what he used to say a lot. So whatever you're going to do for God, do it today.
Yeah.
Do it right now. And so we would just waste time on things that don't matter.
Well, and
instead of things that do matter.
But that's the window into the deeper dwell.
Yeah.
And it's like you look at, I'm just saying, killers and things like that. I don't think they woke up one morning and say, I'm going to, it was the dive into whatever little things that and it just erodes the mental health, erodes that relationship. And next thing you know, and then we see the one time where they got the wrong cup of coffee at the coffee shop and they go postal.
Right.
Trust me, that there was a bunch of stuff going on before they got mad over a cup of coffee.
Right.
And and that's the world we got to remind ourselves. And this is why we would love to come out today. Come out for the Good Friday services.
So tonight we have our Good Friday service. It's going to be right there at the church, Sycamore in Alameda.
Yeah.
7 o'clock.
You haven't seen the new digs? Come on, check out the facility.
And we've been working real hard on making it look good and inviting.
And if you only watched it online, maybe come see it in person.
Absolutely. We're gonna be taking communion because, of course, we want to remember what Jesus did for us.
This is
on Good Friday.
This is the reason we are all Christians this weekend, today and Sunday. Good without. And that's, without Easter Sunday, there's no Good Friday, and that's but this is, I say this every time, Christmas is a wonderful holiday and we should celebrate it and everything else, but in terms of Super Bowl for Christians, this is the weekend.
This is it.
Without this weekend, there's no Christianity.
Right.
So.
And then Saturday, we're having an Easter egg hunt at El Capitan Park.
Nice.
It's just a couple of blocks west of Sycamore on Alameda.
Might want to put an extra pebble or two in the rock or in the eggs just in case the wind rolls a few.
Right.
Because then they go have an Easter egg roll.
We're watching the weather. We're hoping we have like a little hour window there.
A couple umbrellas on the
We're going to have a little stage. We're going to be doing food and we're having some music.
Come ready for fellowship and music. It's a party. It is.
We're giving away Easter care baskets to families that are full of household goods.
Nice.
And then also we're giving away some of the eggs have like prizes in them.
Okay.
I think we are up to like 6 or 7 bikes as of last night.
Wow.
So we
How
got
big are these eggs? No,
I know. We got prizes. So we would love to see the community out
Obviously,
tomorrow.
The bike will be in the egg. I'm making a joke.
And if the weather does hit, we are still doing something. The church will be
Our
open.
church will be right there.
And I think, to be honest, I think today's the way worse of the weather-wise. Like tomorrow's going to be breezy compared to today. And the rain chance is like 20% now.
Yeah.
So it might be a minute in the afternoon where you have to go inside
jump
for a minute
out,
and then you come back out. And
so that's 2 o'clock tomorrow, El Capitan Park.
Temp should be nice. I think they're talking
72.
72.
Yeah.
It's way better than 96.
Way better than 96. Way better.
So
the chocolate won't melt in the egg this year.
That's right. And good news is tonight's wind will be indoors in the church.
It will be, yes.
So that won't, and the building can handle the wind.
Yeah.
We got that.
And then,
it's
of
New
course,
Mexico tested.
Easter Sunday morning, right there at the church, 11 o'clock, I'm doing an illustrated sermon. And I just want to encourage, if you have a home church, go to church on Easter.
Absolutely.
Go there, your churches. We have amazing pastors in our community. We have amazing churches. If you're part of a church body, and don't take this weekend off. Go to church this weekend.
Well, and this is that thing we always remind ourselves. It's like we're all God's children, whether you're Catholic or Baptist or whatever your denomination is. We're all God's children.
Yeah.
And you're right. I've heard there's stories of where towns get where they're all fighting for people and gets. This town has been really every church is whether they, especially when this town hits things like floods, the fires, whatever. The churches in this community rally together, and it doesn't really matter who's parish from where or what. It's for most all of the pastors, the pastoral leaders in our community. Kind of are on a network and get. I'm sure, Pat, you're probably in touch with almost all the pastors.
Not as many as I'd like to be, but a few of them, and surprisingly, ones that I really don't have a good relationship with yet. When we were raising money for our building and different things, I would see like things. When you can make a donation online, I would see donations come in from other pastors and other churches, trying to help us raise money for our building.
But they get your message.
and blows us away, the community that we're here in Roswell.
It is, and so that's why, like you said, go to church. Now, if you don't have a church home, then come join this Victor Outreach. But wherever, or, try different churches. Try one there and then come next week to this one or whatever. But if you're looking for a home, come. We got some great pastoral leaders in our community that do a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
But on the same note, if you are struggling with addiction, things like that, the Victor Outreach folks are very equipped to help you navigate through.
Or if you have family members that are struggling with addiction, I mean, the addiction touches all of our lives in one way or another.
I look at it like the military. If you got a spouse or a family member of the military, you're all in the military.
Yeah.
And addictions, unfortunately,
Similar.
the same kind of.
We all know somebody who's hurting, who's addicted.
Well, and 9 times out of 10. To get to the bottoms, all those bridges are burned. Usually family has turned their back on them. I'm just taking a stab.
Yeah.
When someone hits that bottom, usually at that point, there's not many family members that are willing to listen to that.
It's a well-deserved. Well-deserved. It was the same way for me. One of the hardest things for me, I know Pastor has the same testimony, is having to hear our moms say, you can't
Absolutely.
be here.
But here's the point, too, is if you're the family member being the tough love, you need support too, because I'm sure no one wants to do this to people they love. No one wants to deny people they love something.
Yeah.
But if it's for their best, then it is. And so you guys have a lot of experience on both ends of this.
Yeah.
So if you're struggling with that stuff too, lean on Victor Outreach. Let them help you, navigate through some of this.
Yeah, there's real strongholds on this city. And addiction is a very real thing in Roswell, not just Roswell, all over the world. It really is.
No, it's humanity's problem. Yeah.
Yeah. I was telling Pastor on my way here this morning. I ran into a couple people that were struggling. You know what I mean? And it's God's really placed a burden on my heart since I've been here since 2020. The moment I rolled into this town, it was like, man, God placed it on my heart to reach some.
Got some heavy lifting to do here. Yeah.
So we say it a lot, but we've barely scratched the surface here.
Yeah.
And there's real issues in this town when it comes to addiction and depression and suicide. And I just want to let people know out there.
And it's all connected.
As a suicide survivor, as a man who's defeated depression and addiction, the answer, it really is Jesus. I went through so many programs. I was in so many courtrooms.
You've really tested every other theory.
Yeah. I wore all of them out. Come on, right? But I'm telling you, Jesus really is the answer. He was the one thing that stepped into my life.
Sure.
That immediately changed me. And I'm so grateful for Victory Outreach and this international ministry, because if it wasn't for men like Pastor Sonny, me and Pastor Pat wouldn't be sitting here right now today. So,
and I'm going to take a stab, even though he's no longer with us. He's obviously his vision, you guys.
The vision's going to continue.
His physical body's not here, but his spirit presence and everything is in you guys.
He's going to live on.
When he passed at 85 years old, one of his last messages was that year, just a few months before he passed, to the international leadership. He had a message called the Believers Club, and he was saying it's time for us to believe again, believe that God can do the impossible. And I really took that to heart. It's like, man, you know what? It is possible. When he passed, we're over 700 churches, over 30 countries around the world. We got training centers, victory homes,
over 400 victory homes worldwide,
bases all around the world, and
that's what we're talking about for women. I think we have it. Not one right here, but we can get you to one of the other 400 in there.
And we have great leadership in Victory Outreach. It's just getting started still.
And this I'll swear by this because you guys took the path less traveled to get there. It makes the message that much stronger.
Yeah.
Because, and I'm not, people that are always on the path, awesome, good for you. But people don't resonate, people resonate with common experiences. And all of us have struggled in some way, shape, or form, some more than others. And the message hits much deeper when it's like when someone who's like, oh, well, I've never touched a drug, I've never had, it's kind of hard for that person to tell someone don't do drugs. Like you have you can't possibly understand what I'm feeling here, and I'm not judging it. Good for you that you haven't done it, but from someone that's come hitting about, I'm telling you right now, if somebody that probably never touched a drug, never had a thing come in at your worst, you would have laughed them out of the room. Am I pretty safe to say that? And that's what I'm saying.
Why don't you just don't do drugs? I don't get it.
Exactly. So you need your own kind to hit you in the face. It's no different in the military. That's why veterans are the most stubborn-headed people, and the only other people that can get through to them sometimes is other veterans.
Yeah,
because they understand. The crap we've dealt with, and it's the same kind of deal.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, it's easy to get over addiction when you never had to deal with it. It's easy for you to say that, but for people that have seen it in tenfold, and come through on the other side, you guys are evidence of the proof of the pudding.
Even this morning, one of the men got placed in my path on my way here.
Yeah,
he was just like kind of blowing me off, and I was like, listen, brother, I was in the dirt too. I came from the same gutter.
Yeah,
and in that, once I said that, his eyes opened, and he said, you could see there was some clarity, and he was like, okay, I'll listen to this guy.
Well, you guys can hit him with knowledge that maybe only people that walked in those shoes can understand. Homeless or whatever it is, like, hey, I bet you got this thing in your pocket because this, whatever. Yeah, come on, I've been there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm just talking about, but
absolutely,
that's where you can make that headway through there. So please, and then again, if you have none of this stuff, you just want a church home and family and some cool people.
We have an amazing church.
We love to worship God at Victory Outreach. So come out and join us.
If you got a lot of problems, Victory Outreach would love to have you, but you don't have to have them to come either.
We're not a so many step program. We are a church.
It's just Sunday church. They go, you have potluck, do the thing, the family outings, the fellowship, the camaraderie. It's just like church. But you will not find any alcohol. Sorry. You're looking for that. Then you
the communion is grape juice.
But hey, if you do need help, if you know someone who is struggling, our phone number is 575-291-4107. You could always look us up on Facebook under Victory Outreach Roswell. If you have questions or anything about the home, men, women, whoever it may be, just give me a call.
Absolutely.
Or we don't have we don't shut the phone off at 8 p.m. We're a 24/7 ministry, so give us a call.
Addicts looking to seek refuge in the home probably aren't coming at you at 2 p.m. Just saying, they're usually about 3 a.m. or coming off a bender or some kind of issue. You know what I mean?
Those 3 a.m. calls are the best.
Yeah, but that's you hit bottom when you hit bottom. You know, you'll hit bottom at 9 to 5. But this, if you're looking for that thing, please, come out and come out tonight. Come out to Good Friday services. Come meet the family. Come have a good time. Come honor God, and then I'd love to see you tomorrow. Having fun, and hopefully the weather will work for us.
Good Friday service tonight, 7 p.m. Easter egg hunt tomorrow, 2 p.m. Easter Sunday service, illustrated sermon Sunday at 11 a.m. It's going to be a powerful weekend.
Absolutely. And I also want to invite folks, because you guys have your services online and everything too.
Yep.
So if you can't get out of your house, if you're you can always go to the
reach
website.
us on Facebook, Instagram, and also on YouTube.
Yeah.
Our Facebook is top notch. We keep it up to date with
if you do that, and if you don't do Facebook, I just Google it because I know it's like VO Reach. It's a lot of letters. So just type in Victory Outreach Roswell, maybe put an NM, and it'll be the first thing on the page there. But it's like
Victory Outreach Roswell, Georgia.
Yeah.
New Mexico. There's no Victory Outreach Roswell, Georgia.
There isn't one in Georgia because I was like, they're big enough. There might be one in Georgia. You never know.
Atlanta. There's one in Atlanta.
Not yet. There is one in Atlanta.
There is one in Atlanta.
Well, yeah, in Georgia, I mean, Roswell, Georgia, I believe is kind of a suburb.
It's a suburb of
Atlanta. Yeah, it's a pretty. I think it's a little more populous of a town.
Well,
than
it has
Roswell,
a
New
Top
Mexico.
Golf. It has other stuff. We don't have that yet, but maybe one day. Yeah.
But it is funny every once in a while we get questions. People ask questions like, "Where's the Top Golf?" I'm like, "In Georgia." We got Top Ramen over here.
Come on, Mike.
But guys, is there anything we missed? Anything?
No,
we
I think that's it. Except for our Hope for Roswell coming up this summer. We already secured some of the artists for our concert on the courthouse lawn. Ooh. If any businesses or even personal, you want to get involved financially to sponsor, we're going to be hitting 3 or 4 parks around town with Christian hip hop and feeding free food, all that kind of stuff.
Having a little block party.
Yeah, and plus our big concert, and it's kind of a big budget, but we would love to take on some sponsors. We can put you on the flyer, give you some shout outs on stage if that's something that maybe you're interested in getting involved in.
Plug in the radio here when you come in to promote. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Come on in. We'd love to sponsors because the more sponsors we have, the bigger we can get. The bigger we can go.
Well, and this is the kind of outreach because this is where you get folks that won't want to walk into a church building and come
Absolutely.
see. They're a little scared to do that. But if you're out in the streets and there's food and there's music and they're going to be come on in and then all right, let's open your heart to us here. And let's
Absolutely.
So yes, the more circus grandiose you make it look, the more it attracts, and the more it brings to it, and the more people get help. So the more sponsors, the bigger the beam of light we could put up to say come one, come all, and do that. Because it really does. You make a bunch of noise and make what's going on over there, and people just meander.
Yeah.
Homeless community, whatever. It might be some free food opportunity. Next thing you know, we're able to put you back on the right path.
You think if just one guy goes into the home and his life changes and turns around, how many people does that affect? It doesn't just affect him; it affects his family, his coworkers, his neighbors, the whole community.
Things start healing.
The people that he was gonna rob in the future, he's not gonna rob anymore. It just one life change. Changes so many others.
Well, and this is why I always say the mental health we got to fix. This is where I'm not trying to get political, but when it comes in the world of things, we need to be Susan G. Coleman-ing mental health like we do pink ribbons, whatever we do, whatever they do for breast cancer, we need to be doing that for mental health. And raise gazillions of dollars because guess what? You're right. Once you do that and you start getting faith, and guess what? The crime rate goes down, the alcohol, all the
touches everything.
And it's the name of Jesus. I've seen Jesus heal men's and women's lives in the victory homes that people thought couldn't be healed. It's Jesus. It really is.
And I always, I'm going to leave on this note because you're talking about you're the druggy church and all this. I'm going to leave on this. Last time I checked, when Jesus was preaching, he wasn't in the high society places. He's down in the ghettos, preaching to the prostitutes, to the that's where the need is. And hello, folks. So I won't remind folks that. So for those people that think they're, kind of looking your nose down on Victory Out real well, I'm going to tell you right now, that's more Jesus than anything you're doing right now. All I'm saying. Guys, thank you very much.
No, thank you, Mike. We appreciate you.
Anytime. And definitely as we get more details and more information about the summer and all these different outreach events, please let us know so we can get you back out here.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let folks know. So
absolutely.
Well, happy Easter, and praying for good weather and everything works flawlessly for the weekend.
Awesome. You got it, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. All right, 7:53. Let's pause for news. Kim Commando and a few commercials. Don't go away.
Now for your Pecos Valley news update. I'm Jared Sorello. For the second time this month, a Roswell police officer finds himself jailed and arrested. This time, RPD confirms the arrest of Officer Thomas Troy, who is in trouble for harassing an ex-girlfriend. The woman told police that Troy arrived at the home of her current boyfriend and began banging on the door. Troy allegedly remained at the property about 20 minutes until police arrived. The woman said this type of behavior had become a pattern for Troy, whom she said she had broken up with months earlier. Troy, who is 21 years old, has been a Roswell officer since March of 2023. Yesterday, we reported the arrest of Officer Brandon Spates over a domestic violence incident with his girlfriend. Portions of roads on the west and southwest sides of Roswell Air Center will be closed during the daytime for a week in May as the National Championship Air Races conduct its pylon racing seminar. That will help prepare pilots and race staff for the air races that are scheduled to make their Roswell debut in September. The road closures will be in effect beginning May 19th through the 23rd. That week, the road closures, Monday and Tuesday, will be 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., Wednesday 7 to 5:30, and Thursday and Friday 7 to 5:45. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
Your phone, your laptop, your e-bike, they all run on lithium-ion batteries. Handy little things until they turn into tiny flaming grenades. I'm Kim Commando for Home Title Lock. Go to HometitleLock.com, use promo code KIM to receive a free 14-day trial of their $1 million triple lock protection when you sign up. The batteries inside your favorite tech, they're filled with highly flammable fluid. One wrong move, like dropping it, charging with some knockoff from the bargain bin, or leaving it inside a hot car, and it can go up in flames. Literally. The official name for this meltdown, thermal runaway. That means the battery keeps heating itself up until it either explodes or catches fire. So here's how to stay safe. Don't leave your phone or laptop inside a hot car near a heater. If it does feel hot, shut it down, let it cool. And if you're buying an e-bike, only get one with UL 2271 certified batteries. If it doesn't have it, skip it. Get more tips like this with my free newsletter. Sign up right now at getkim.com. Title theft is a growing real estate scam targeting the $32 trillion in American homeowners' equity. Criminals forge your signature on one document, use a fake notary stamp, pay a small fee, and file with your county. Then, your home's title and its equity are in the hands of a criminal. So when is the last time you checked your home title? If you're like me, the answer is never. And that's exactly what scammers are counting on. Use my promo code KIM at HometitleLock.com, and you'll get a free title history report to find out if your title is still in your name. When you sign up, you'll also receive a free 14-day trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's immediate 24/7 monitoring of your property, urgent alerts if there are any changes, and if fraud should happen, their U.S.-based restoration team will spend up to $1 million to fix the fraud and restore your title at no additional cost. Your satisfaction is guaranteed, and you can cancel anytime. Go to HometitleLock.com and use promo code KIM for the protection you deserve.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We'll have some sunshine today, but we have a cold front dropping in. Very gusty wind at 40 to 50 miles per hour. We'll stay in the low to mid 80s through the day, but we should get some sunshine. Few clouds overnight, mid 40s and windy. We do have a slim chance of a shower on Saturday. It'll be mostly sunny though, and our afternoon high about 70. Still fairly cool on Sunday, mid 70s and sunny. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. A lot of baseball, softball games yesterday. And let's go to the scoreboard. It was a wild one between Roswell and Hobbs, with the Coyotes winning at home 12-1. They got 4 home runs in the game. Savino Sanchez 3 for 3 with 2 doubles and a home run and 3 RBIs. Meanwhile, it was Goddard winning on the road at Lovington. This is baseball. 19-2 was the final score. NMMI wins a couple at Sandia Prep in Albuquerque, 8-0. First game, 20-1 in the second game. Softball action yesterday. Goddard wins at Portales. Viviana Morales, the winning pitcher, with a complete game. Final score was 4-1. But Roswell loses a pair at Carlsbad. No problem for the Cave Girls, winning 12-1 and 17-4. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. President Donald Trump slammed Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell on Thursday, reiterating his frustration that the Fed has not aggressively cut interest rates and saying that the central bank leader's termination cannot come fast enough. This comes a day after Powell signaled that the Fed will keep its key interest rate unchanged while it seeks greater clarity on the impact of policy changes in areas such as immigration, taxation, regulation, and tariffs. Surging U.S. tariffs will weaken the global economy and push up inflation this year, according to projections to be released next week by the International Monetary Fund. President Trump's trade war has created the biggest uncertainty for U.S. airlines since the COVID pandemic. Carriers are struggling to accurately forecast their business. The average rate on a 30-year mortgage in the U.S. climbed to its highest level in 8 weeks. The rate rose to 6.83% from 6.62% last week. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
What made Roswell Hyundai the #1 used car dealership in southeastern New Mexico? Great selection, great savings, and great people. Roswell Hyundai has an amazing selection of makes, models, and model years to choose from. If you can't find it, Roswell Hyundai can get it. And Roswell Hyundai will take any trade. The experts at Roswell Hyundai will work with you to get you behind the wheel of your next dream ride. So, what makes Roswell Hyundai the #1 used car dealership in southeastern New Mexico? You do! Come check out the Used Car Supercenter only at Roswell Hyundai, 1909 West 2nd.
Your home for Kim Commando in Roswell. 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
And we're closing in on 8 o'clock. Town Hall News is up next. We'll be back on the other side of news. Don't go away.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. A federal appeals court is upholding a judge's decision to order sworn testimony by Trump officials in the high-profile case of a mistakenly deported man.
A 3-judge panel from the 4th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals said it's shocking that the administration claims it can't do anything to free Kilmar Abrego Garcia from an El Salvador prison and return him to the U.S. The federal appeals panel raised serious questions about efforts to stash away residents in foreign prisons without due process. It also warned of the dangers of an escalating conflict between the judiciary and executive branches. Greg Clugston, Washington.
And after being turned away more than once, Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen did get part of what he wanted during his trip to El Salvador. He met with Abrego Garcia. The Salvadoran man who entered the U.S. illegally is now imprisoned in El Salvador. Police in Maryland determined that he is an MS-13 gang member, and Salvadoran President Bukele says he will not be released, even though Van Hollen was hoping to bring him back to Maryland. Memorials of candles and flowers dot the Florida State University Tallahassee campus. Following yesterday's shooting, it killed 2 people, wounded at least a half dozen others. President Trump asked about more gun control.
Look, I'm a big advocate of the Second Amendment. I have been from the beginning. I protected it. And these things are terrible. But the gun doesn't do the shooting. The people do.
Police say the suspect is the 20-year-old son of a sheriff's deputy. Secretary of State Rubio's patience may be wearing thin as he tries to arrange an end to the war in Ukraine. He says the U.S. may move on from those efforts if there is no discernible progress in the coming days. Rubio spoke following a long day of talks in Paris among U.S., Ukrainian, and European officials. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Financing a home, especially in today's market, is one of the biggest decisions you'll make for your family. Work with a mortgage company that puts you first.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Begs to differ. The latest in the media lines, Felice Friedson.
Plans to remain military Iranian nuclear sites that would have featured American air power flying cover for Israeli commandos on the ground have been shelved in favor of a U.S.-led diplomatic engagement with Iran. The New York Times reports that the decision came amid disagreement among Trump administration officials after the Ayatollah reversed his position, opening the door to indirect negotiations. Those opposing the main mission, Director of Intelligence Gabbard, Defense Secretary Hegseth, Vice President Vance, and Chief of Staff Wiles, saw a low chance of success and the ability to revert to the military option if talks fail. I'm Felice Friedson, Town Hall News, Jerusalem.
News and analysis at themedialine.org and townhall.com. A new rule is ending a controversial tactic used by college football teams to manipulate the clock.
The NCAA Playing Rules Oversight Panel gave final approval to a rule change designed to discourage football players from faking injuries to stop the game clock. If medical personnel go onto the field to evaluate a player with an apparent injury after the ball is spotted for the next play, the player's team will be charged a timeout. If the team has no timeouts remaining, a 5-yard delay of game penalty will be assessed. Feigning injuries, sometimes at the coach's instruction, had become a concern of the Football Rules Committee in recent years.
Correspondent Gethin Coolbaugh. America's only rare earths mine has been swamped with calls since China moved to limit exports of 7 rare earth metals. The California mine can't keep up with demand. For that reason, President Trump pushing for new mines to be opened. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2 of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Good Friday.
And to you as well, sir.
It is Good Friday, Good Friday. I'm just going to go with Good Friday. Happy Good Friday does not sound right.
There's a funny Easter story in my family that I've remembered for years. So not every Easter, but most Easters, my family would go to Truth or Consequences to the Christian radio station KLYT out of Albuquerque would have a big weekend festival. They'd have a concert on Saturday night, and then Sunday they would have a sunrise service and an egg hunt for the kids. So the one thing stand out from that is we were all sitting kind of in the sand, coloring our eggs and stuff and painting them and stuff. And my sister was so intensely focused and working on this egg, and she was designing it and was super proud of it. And then she brought it over and showed it to us. Bear in mind, my sister, 5 years older, 6 years older, depending upon what time of year it is, wildly smarter than any of us in our family. She was the smart one. And she brings over this egg, and I swear to God, she showed it to us, and it just said, "Happy birthday, Jesus." I'm like, no, that's the other one. But she intense, like painting it, like intricate design work. "Happy birthday, Jesus." No,
it's a Christmas egg.
No, that's. Well, I don't know if you want to save it till then, but yeah, that was.
That's a troubling time egg.
Right? Yeah. So she showed it to us, and we all had a laugh. And I'm not even sure if she was doing it intentionally. She could have been. If she was,
She could have been.
That's
missing.
Kaufman level.
It was 80s level trolling.
Yeah.
Before the internet.
Right. That's pretty good.
Pretty much. Dad jokes are trolling before the internet.
Mm-hmm.
That's
100%.
really what a dad joke is.
Yeah.
It's just trolling before the internet. In a fun, jovial way. Not the evil, mean-spirited way you people do it now.
Yeah.
But it's more.
And trolling has really taken a negative turn.
It has.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I fear it's because sarcasm doesn't translate in text as well as it does in.
Yeah, and so we have to be scathing in order to be understood
So if you
in our
say
sarcasm.
it, you're like, oh, clearly they're not serious. But you type it.
We need you to feel this. We need you to feel the vitriol behind my words.
It amazes me, since we're talking internet, like I saw yesterday. It was one of these, reality video fake jobbers.
Mm-hmm.
And this one clearly. Basically what they did was they took like SeaWorld Shamu animals and made them in human form. And it looked like this just gelatinous one I think was 3 people. I wasn't sure.
Oh, that's
because there was
like
more than one
AI
leg.
or
Yeah, it was all AI
that's
done.
disturbing.
But it was bad. And sure enough, I clicked the comments. First one out there, is this real? I was like, are you serious? Like, I get some of this AI can fool you, but when you see a 4-legged fat thing rolling through the water, there ain't nothing real about
and it's
that.
not screaming, "Kill me!" It's not real.
Yeah. It looked like Shamu and King Kong Bundy people were just like merged together. It was very weird.
When AI hallucinates, to me, it's one of the and I'll give you the reason why in a second, but it's one of the scariest things known to man. And a part of it is because I have this phobia about if a video game glitches, like if I'm watching or playing a video game and it glitches out, I have to leave the room and have another adult come and turn it off for me.
Wow.
Because from childhood, I've just had a fear of that.
I feel like you should talk to someone about that.
It's I've always just dealt with it.
Turn Roy's mic off.
I was going to say, never play the Metal Gear Solid franchise then.
Oh.
Because that's full of that
full
type
of
of stuff.
Glitchiness.
To this day, one of my favorite grammatical errors in all of video gaming is the original Metal Gear game. Not all this, the OG Metal Gear.
Mm-hmm.
And every single time you got in the back of one of the trucks and the truck would take you to the next thing, that graphic would come and say, "Uh-oh, the truck have started to move." Every time. And I used to, it was like, it's not have you.
Those are great. The translation errors. The famous one being "all your base are belong to us."
Yeah. Yeah, and I put many an hour in the Metal Gear.
Mm-hmm.
I've never played any of the other Gear, but the OG Metal Gear,
Well, they get pretty
seat time on that one.
They get pretty cinematic.
Oh yeah, this one was way basic. It was literally it was.
But yeah, every time it used to happen to me when I was a kid, and I think a lot of it was because my sister early on told me that it would explode if it did that.
Well, your sister's.
Okay, she's diabolical. Like she's a loving
from the makers
person,
of the Happy Birthday Jesus.
Actually, there's a good moment in Batman Arkham Asylum, I think it is, where there's like an intentional glitch that makes you think it's like glitching out.
If it's an intentional glitch, then I'm weirdly okay with that.
Excellent band name, by the way.
Intentional glitch. Like if they put it in there on purpose, that's fine. I can sit through that. But I still get just visibly uncomfortable when I see it, to this day. But that's why these AI hallucinations, they just,
Oh yeah,
I can't.
But that one with the Shamu people in the water was really weird.
If you're ever bored, just Google or look up AI gymnast, because they did a version of like a gymnast,
like on the uneven bars or something,
like on the mat,
with like extra arms,
and then I think it was the balance beam, and some of these tricks, like they just jump and start flipping, and they just become legs. It's the creepiest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. To the point where I turn it on, I'm like, ugh!
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, look away.
I'm sorry, and it still messes with me when like the pizza one with the big long mouths eating pizza.
Yeah,
it really does. It's nightmare fuel.
They actually redid that recently with like the new like AI version or whatever, and it's shockingly good. Like it's really, really good. They've come leaps and bounds over.
Like, does Will Smith really like spaghetti?
I don't think so.
That clip haunts me too.
Yeah,
that one of Will Smith eating spaghetti. You ever see that one?
Oh, of course.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Or does Conan O'Brien like fried chicken? Or
sorry, changing subjects. You said Conan O'Brien. They're about to do season 2 of the one where he goes abroad and has. I loved.
Wait, they're bringing that back?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's. I saw a thing on. The teaser for the next season, I think, jumps today. And so I'm going to say this summer, because last summer when they put it out on Hulu or HBO Max, I think is what it's on.
It's HBO Max.
And if you haven't watched it, go get it on Max. It's Conan. Basically, he goes to different countries and does Conan, and it's. I love it.
That was like 5 years ago.
Yeah. He did a new one like last year, and he went to like 6 new countries and did a whole. But now there's a like he's got a show.
His whole thing
is a show that's this now. Season 1 was last summer. This is season 2.
He's like, I'm going to go to these places and I don't want to learn anything. I don't want to take anything away from it. I just want to be there.
He just has the perfect body to put him in weird European garb.
Yeah,
like he looks good in a kilt or a suit of armor,
yeah.
or
shockingly good in a kilt,
or in a karate gi. He works.
Here's a fun fact about Conan. He once unsuccessfully mounted a water buffalo.
Oh,
yeah, on set during one of his animal segments or whatever. He did that. The water buffalo like reared up, and this was during rehearsals. Like it wasn't even during the show, so nobody even got it on camera. He got this like massive bruise on his.
I kind of remember seeing the bruise
on his
now.
hip. Yeah,
I remember that.
He pulled down his pants and showed it during one of his shows.
I think I remember seeing it.
Massive, but yeah, it's because a water buffalo kicked him off on set.
That's like that one it was about a year or two ago with Gordon Ramsay. Remember that one? Like apparently, because he does his little adventure shows and all that too for National Geographic. I guess he had one of those instances, and I remember seeing like 2 years ago, and his whole face was like this bruised red in his whole body, and I can't remember what he did, but he did something, and I think he fell off a bike or something.
Okay,
yeah.
I do kind of remember.
Something like that. So.
The one where Conan goes to Australia, that's the one where I learned that AC/DC is pronounced Akadaka in Australia.
Oh, that's great.
The more you know.
Gordon Ramsay sustained injuries in a bike accident in Connecticut. Go. Yeah, he showed up.
Yeah, I remember.
With massive bruise on his torso. Oh, I do remember.
Yeah, it was not pretty.
Yeah,
he showed on his Twitter or whatever it was. Yeah,
that's really funny.
Real quick, when you said earlier, "Are you serious?" Like the way you said it, reminded me of Super Dave saying it on the Norm Macdonald show.
Yeah. Are you serious? Yeah.
You know. Deep down, I ain't gonna lie, there might be a little Super Dave in me. I just I've got an amalgamation of things I've collected over the years. There might be a little hint of Super Dave in there. You never know. A little Dorf on golf, maybe too. Bill Williams patiently waiting in another room.
Very patient.
I don't want to go into a Dorf on golf rant, so we're gonna move on. But Bill's gonna join us. Yesterday, the commission met, so we'll get the highlights from all of that here. Before we do any of that, though, let's get you up to date on the weather.
Weather this hour brought to you by Southwest Bearing under new ownership. Custom solutions for your heavy equipment. Hydraulic hoses, hose repair, bearings, seals, sprockets, belts, tools, fluids, and fittings.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We'll have some sunshine today, but we have a cold front dropping in. Very gusty wind at 40 to 50 miles per hour. We'll stay in the low to mid 80s through the day, but we should get some sunshine. Few clouds overnight, mid 40s and windy. We do have a slim chance of a shower on Saturday. It'll be mostly sunny though, and our afternoon high about 70. Still fairly cool on Sunday, mid 70s and sunny. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 65 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity's at 31%. Winds currently out of the east at 3 miles per hour. For today, we have a wind advisory that kicks in at 9, and that remains in effect through 7. Red flag warning already in effect. That fired up at 8 this morning. That will continue till 9 a.m. And then tomorrow, they've got a fire weather watch they've already issued, and that's from 11 to 9 tomorrow. But today's like the worst day, I think, of the wind and all that. They're talking areas of blowing dust for this afternoon. Sunny and 79, so it is a little cooler. We're near 80. But the winds are going to be blowing out of the southwest, 20 to 25 early, later increasing 30 to 35. Could see wind gusts as high as 50 miles per hour today. Tonight, mostly clear, overnight low of 46. The winds will continue out of the west, 20 to 30, gusting as high as 45 miles per hour. For Saturday, less wind, a slight rain chance. At the beginning of the week, they were talking like a 40%. Now we're eked out a 20% chance of showers between noon and 3 p.m. Then maybe a chance for some isolated stuff for the afternoon. But mostly sunny and 73 tomorrow, so it's going to be cooler. And winds will be breezy, not bad. North 15 to 20. That's not horrible for us. It's not pleasant, but it's not horrible. And then we are looking at a 20% chance of showers Saturday night, mainly before midnight, mostly cloudy. Overnight low 41. Winds out of the northwest 15 to 20, gusting as high as 30. They will drop down 10 to 15 after midnight. And then Easter Sunday, it's like the clouds part and just a beautiful day. Sunny skies, 75. Like someone may be playing that. Don't know. Northwest winds, not saying, just saying. Northwest winds at around 10 miles per hour. So it looks like you got outdoor Easter egg hunts and all that good stuff for Sunday. I think you're going to be A-okay there. Maybe let the grass dry off a little bit if we do get some moisture. But other than that, I think you'll be all right. And then looks like next week we're going to be pretty good. Low 80s Monday, mid 80s for Tuesday, and pretty much the rest of the week, at least through Thursday. So. And not much talk of wind yet. Oh, there is a 20% chance of showers Wednesday. Midweek next week they're talking. But that'll be good and gone by the time we get there. All right, it is 8:19. We're going to take a 3-minute break. And then Chavis County Manager Bill Williams will join us on the other side. Don't go away.
Lyrics of an old hymn titled One Day paint a beautiful picture. One day the grave could conceal him no longer. One day the stone rolled away from the door. Then he arose, over death he had conquered. Now is ascended my Lord evermore. Living he loved me, dying he saved me. Buried he carried my sins far away. Rising he justified freely forever. One day he's coming, O glorious day. What a great song. Prior to his death, Jesus shares the following words as he consoles a friend who had lost her brother. He says, I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live even though they die, and whoever lives by believing in me will never die. He gave these words to comfort not only Martha, but also to comfort and support us as we journey through this life. By dying, Christ destroyed the power of death. By rising, he restored our life. Easter is the day the world may celebrate this, but it's worth celebrating every day. We welcome you to join us this Sunday as we celebrate the power of the resurrection.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Did you know almost 75% of the time we're replacing a roof, something totally weird or unexpected or bizarre happens? Jennifer here again from Trustmark Roofing, and I want you to know that we are always prepared for the unexpected. That's why we always have Project Superintendent on site at your home at all times to handle those weird, bizarre things as they pop up. Things like an unexpected layer of wood shake shingles under your shingles or rotted out decking boards, problems with flashing or ridges or missing supplies that somebody needs to chase down. These are the kinds of problems that normally grind the crews from other roofing companies to a halt and delay the project. But not with our super awesome superintendent there. He's equipped to handle any problem and keep the project moving along smoothly. Just one more way we do things better at Trustmark Roofing. If you have any roofing needs, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Upside Down? Time to turn it around. The Upside Down and Payoff Sales event is on now at Roswell Honda. Now through Easter weekend, Roswell Honda needs your trade, and they'll do whatever it takes to get it. If they make a deal, they'll pay off your trade no matter what you owe and eliminate your existing loan or lease. Drive away today for $0 down and payments as low as $199 a month with or without perfect credit. Drive newer for less and get right side up during the Upside Down and Payoff Sales event at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd.
Maybe your AC unit needs a little tender loving care. If you don't know where to turn, then you don't know Jack. In fact, they're downright funky. Let the boys at Fergie's Plumbing and Heating get your AC unit ice cold, just like some of my lady friends. Don't let any fool make you lose your cool. Fergie's Plumbing and Heating. If you don't know Fergie, then you don't know Jack. 632-2660.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Men are 6 times more likely to be struck by lightning than women. That's because men are 6 times more likely to wear a tinfoil hat in a thunderstorm. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 23 minutes after 8 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning, Chaves County Manager Bill Williams back with us. Good morning.
Good morning, Mike.
Doing, of course, he was, last month you were a little bit under the weather and things.
A lot of things just didn't
doing
work
better
out.
this time,
yeah,
though. And
I'm finally over that long-lasting cough. I mean, no other symptoms, just a horrible cough for months.
I think I'm starting to get some of that now because I've been doing it.
Stay away then.
But of course, when Bill joins us, that means usually County Commission met shortly there before.
Yeah.
And yes, yesterday was, I know with legislative sessions and things get moving around, but we're back to the normal schedule here in April and all that.
I hope everything's good.
So, and usually during the summer you have to move another one, don't you? For
we moved the June meeting because, we moved the June and the July meeting actually. The June
one's
meeting,
for budget, right?
Yeah, one gives us an extra week to close out the books for the final budget. You know, we do the interim budget, is all approved and everything, but then the final budget isn't approved till July, and the reason is we have to close out the books on, at the end of
the fiscal year there.
At the end of the fiscal year and get actual numbers to put in there. So we try to push that one a week to give the finance department. They make it happen regardless of when it is, but just
give them extra time to dot the I's and just go over and make
out of appreciation for the fine job that they do. Well, they just got their 10th or 11th excellence award for financial.
I was about to say, there's a reason. This is why, because they're meticulous about it, and they get excellent ratings and every. Put it this way: Chaves County never has the issue of Santa Fe crawling up their back because their budgets look bad or any of this kind of stuff.
You know, I do have a bit of bad news though. We got a plaque in the mail the other day, a marble plaque. It's got 15 spaces on it, and we have another one that's completely full in there, and I think there's another one. Then we have all these glass awards that the finance department gets, but the finance department received in the mail a marble plaque that, financial excellence, and it's got a little button on there for 2024. And Annabelle, our finance director, CFO, she counted the dots, which, as a finance person, they count everything.
They're literally bean counters.
But she says, that coincides with when I'll be eligible to retire. So when this is full, I'm done. I said, okay. No awards for you.
So I know what's going to happen. The middle of the night, Bill's going to go in there and pull one off.
I know.
Oh, you got another year.
If we need to keep her for an extra year, we'll just remove her little tokens off the bottom of the thing with the year.
You got to wait for a few years build up or a little bit more noticeable,
Well, she's going to go far, and 15 years is a long time, and that's how many spaces.
It's a long time, but it goes
fast. She may be the governor before the end of that comes.
I'd hold her to it. I'd be like, I'm sorry, you're governor now, but you got to come back. You still got 2 spaces
you
left.
said you were going to stay here until this was full. So
2 more spaces here. No,
we're really fortunate that we have a lot of really good employees. One of the things that we did at our commission meeting this week, we had 3 proclamations. First one was our annual character counts thing for the heroes in our community.
Later this month, they're going to be doing that here on the 22nd, 28th, 29th, 28th, 29th, I think.
Yeah, because it's a whole
week.
It's
Tuesday, the last Tuesday of the month.
It's a whole week, but I don't know what day they're actually having their actual meeting this time.
I think it's that Tuesday.
But anyway, we do a proclamation, present it to some of the leaders there, and then they take it to the actual character counts meeting and present it to the community and the people who earned it.
Yeah.
The person that received it yesterday also earned it, but I mean to the larger group.
We do a public recognition in the county commission.
And then the other heroes that we recognized yesterday, talking about Chaves County employees and how talented they are and how fortunate we are as a community to have them. The first week in May is Corrections Officers Week.
Nice.
And, we have some great corrections officers, and it's just amazing the things that they do.
Absolutely.
And, they're in law enforcement. People often forget that, the
they're
police,
very much in law enforcement.
The police and sheriffs and things, they have an encounter with somebody, they have to make an arrest, whatever. They might be around that person an hour or two by the time the
COs live
they
with
arrest them and make the booking and all that, and then they go to jail. And depending how long they're there, they are with them 24 hours a day. And some of these people are not very friendly people, as you might expect.
Sure.
And so, those are really unsung heroes, and they don't get to carry, weapons that you would out on the street. Of course, the situation is different. I mean, it's a controlled situation, certainly.
Yes and no,
those people have a lot of bravery.
And I'm not. Please don't take this as I'm trying to belittle what police officers do. But at the end of the day, a police officer walks around, and 99% of the people around him are good people. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying. I'm not saying all the people in the jail are bad, but they're there for a reason. And so yes, it's a far more. But here's the beauty of it is they also have the biggest impact. Mm-hmm. Like COs, because they have so much time and things, they can really make the impact on rehabilitating some of these folks so they don't actually come back to the jail.
And that's one of the things that makes them such heroes.
Yeah.
They have training. They bring people in to reduce recidivism.
Sure.
We want to help people if they've got a substance abuse problem, for instance. We've got medical there. We have people that take a look at them, try to help them through those situations, and when they go back out, we hope that they stay out, that they fix whatever was wrong and stay out. And it's really good. There's a lot of really good people in our community, organizations that come and assist and help, and we're really thankful for all that. But our corrections officers are wonderful people. We are expecting to have our second annual, they did it last year, Corrections Officers Day.
Okay.
And the leadership at the jail, at CCDC, was so good last year that they had certain people on staff. Every person at the jail came to this particular event, and every person there got some sort of incentive.
Despite that they had to work, it's because it's the jail. It doesn't shut down. They can't shut down for a big event.
Right. So what happened is whoever was on shift, the lieutenants, the higher officers, they went out and spelled them. So they attended the meeting at the very beginning, thanked everyone for what they'd done, did their leadership responsibility there.
So then the leadership ran the jail while they
But the true measure of leadership is they all left and they went out to the jail and said, you guys need to be appreciated. You go to town. Nice. We had it at the Civic Center last year. Of course, this year they'll have to have it at a different location, but they got everything from
it's cool.
Meal tickets. People gave them gift cards. There was just an outpouring of support from our community for those corrections officers. We're going to have the second annual one of those.
So I'm guessing donations are being
donations
sought?
Would be appreciated. And you can call the jail, CCDC, and find out they do have an auxiliary.
Sure. And then give you more detail on what kind of stuff they're looking for and things like that. Yeah.
We have some people we think that are going to give some vacation kind of things.
Sweet.
So, they had some pretty good prizes, if you want to call it that, last year.
That's awesome they get to do that.
Every person there got at least one thing.
Sure.
They were fed a great meal. They all got all variety of things, Yeti coolers, some good merch,
Yeah.
And
so
that was really cool.
So the second annual coming up here pretty quickly.
Yeah, very quickly. And I should remember what day it is, and I'm sorry, but I don't. But we'll try to get Michael or Mr. Crocker to come out here, and
maybe during that time we get them on to brag on the radio a little bit.
Just brag on the staff that we
Absolutely.
have. We're essentially fully staffed. You always have a little fluctuation up and down, but
they're always. You'll never hear the detention center we're full. You'll never hear that.
But we're no longer
in critical mass here.
Critically low with people.
So some of the COs get to go home sometimes.
Oh, yes. People work their shifts. Everything is just running appropriately, and that's really nice. I mean, it all goes to the leadership. But as Warden Briscoe likes to say, he says, those people in the jail don't work for me. I work for them. And so he considers them all the leaders. They do the great job.
Sure.
He listens to what they have to say, and he adapts what needs to be done according to what the worker bees say.
When they go to the next event and the leadership has to kind of, run the beats on the jail, I'm going to say I bet there'll be a few heads turn when the wardens actually walking like a beat and doing like what a regular CO does that particular day.
He does that regularly, though.
I'm sure he's always walking around.
Yeah,
and
he
stuff,
does.
But,
and that's I think one of the keys
but when he's
to
telling
the
them to
success,
do the CO stuff, all right, lights out, guys.
When the chief of security and the warden of the jail are regularly seen throughout the place and making certain that everything is done according to policies and procedures, it just changes the whole dynamic there. So we're really proud of them, and they did a good job. Speaking of heroes, we also recognized a local hero, but not an entity. It wasn't the character counts, and it wasn't the entire staff, but it was an individual. So unfortunately, it was a posthumous proclamation, but Justice Bowe was a gentleman that worked his heart out for our community for many years, and he was on the Boys and Girls Club, parent advisory councils. He worked for, I can't think what they're called now, but the labor department and placed people
Workforce
in jobs,
Connections.
Workforce or what? Yeah,
Workforce Solutions or Connections.
I think it was before it was actually called that, but yeah.
It was just the labor department.
Well, it might have been, yeah.
I remember when I started radio, it was just the labor department.
But he helped a lot of people in our community not only find their way as far as their careers and their jobs, but he also helped a lot of the youth in the community. And we we're very fortunate to honor him. He was a leader at Washington Chapel Church here in town, and he was just a great asset. We're gonna miss him, but he left a legacy. So
they honored him at the meeting yesterday too.
The commissioners honored him yesterday, so that was a real good thing. And then actually we did this a little out of order. Then we always have our presentations. Micah Spiritu will get up and speak, and Angela Moore will get up and tell us what the chamber's doing and the success of the Rise with Roswell breakfast, which happened last month. We have that usual thing.
Get the
cooperative extension comes in. They give us an update on 4-H and
get
Drew,
the gospel and what's going on around the county.
Drew tells us what to expect in agriculture this year and
every
this
month they get these reports and just kind of give the finger on the pulse of what's going on around there. So,
But I kind of forgot that, and so our number one agenda item was Alex Palomino, our public services director. It's time for our annual road hearings. So I gave Alex I said, yeah, go. And so he gets up there and starts in, and the chairman turns to me and says, don't we have some presentations? Oh, sorry, sir. Alex, back down. But Alex was prepared. He got in there and really got started. But our annual road hearings, of course, we've talked about that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The applications we only do it one time a year. The applications are put in at a certain time of the year, and then a group of 3 freeholders are selected that are not related to any of the roads. They go out and look at the roads and make a recommendation on whether or not, excuse me, 2 things. One is if it's a road vacation, they say it does or does not meet the requirements set forth in the road policy to be vacated. For instance, if it's a farm to market road, if it's a dedicated school bus route, if it's a postal route, if it's primary access to public lands.
If people other than you need it, then we need to probably keep it in the thing. But
so they'll look at the vacations and say it either does or does not meet that requirement. If it does not meet the requirements to be vacated, it's a done deal.
Yeah, then we're done here.
And we had 2 vacation requests. One of them did not meet the requirements to be vacated.
So we're done with that one.
And the other one, they felt it did meet the requirements.
Okay. So we're moving on with that
it
one.
moves forward. The other 2 roads that are in question are for new road requests. So, and they were applications were received by several of the people on the road. So they would like the county to take a private road and turn it into and there's a whole procedure they have to do, but the freeholders make a recommendation. Yeah, we think this would be a
one of the
addition.
big ones on that one for folks who don't know is you got to bring the road up to county standards.
Right.
Prior to the county taking over.
And
the
if
road.
it's a private road, you also have to deed some right of way.
Gotcha.
If it's a non-county maintained road, for instance, a subdivision that's accepted by the county commission, most subdivision plats have a statement in there that says the alleys and streets are dedicated to the use and the benefit of the public. So that's the first part. There's two parts to a dedication. One is it has to be dedicated. Two, it has to be accepted by the government entity.
Okay.
And so if the chairman of the county commission has signed that plat, and these things go back, forever. The one that I live in, I think, was platted in the late 1800s.
Nice.
It's Hagerman Orchards. It's out in the middle of nowhere.
Guys with big beards made those decisions.
Yeah. So if the roads and alleys are dedicated to the use and benefit of the public and the county accepts them. Now, a lot of documents are signed by the county clerk. That just means they accepted the document. It has to be signed by the chairman of the county.
Okay.
Because the board of commissioners have to actually accept it.
Makes sense.
So that gives us, in a situation like that, it allows the county to have the actual right-of-way for the road.
Okay.
That's why there's a lot of roads that are non-county maintained, because they either have to be brought up to standards, as you suggested, by the developer when he develops it, and then the county will take it, or they're not developed.
They'll have the right-of-way.
They gave us the right-of-way, and so it's a non-county maintained road, and after some period of years, they might decide they want it to be a county maintained road, so someone has to bring it up to standards. We already have the right-of-way, so all they have to do is make some semblance of a road. And we realize that the general public are not road builders, so we're not going to expect, perfection. But
you're out there with your levels and everything. This is off 5 degrees.
But at the same time, it can't be winding around a bunch of salt cedars or mesquites or something like that.
Yeah, it's got to be a road that's navigable pretty easily with a vehicle that isn't something that looks like a Humvee.
So the freeholders make their recommendation on those roads, and they agree that these two roads would be good additions to our county. We had a public hearing where people can be there for or against and just, let the public know about the road so they can also speak up if they would like. And then next Tuesday, the county commissioners themselves will go out and actually view each of those roads.
And that's what, like you said, there's one road that qualifies to be vacated by the county here. Like you said, just because it's not a done deal until the county commission signs off, but they got to go out there and see, look and walk
see
the
for
land
themselves,
and see. Okay, because and I'm going to take a stab. There's been years where they thought everything was good, then they went out for the visit and said, "Oh wait, what's that road there, or what's this here?" That's going to disqualify.
Exactly, and this one in particular that's made its way through to the next step. I think it's 300 and something feet long, so it's pretty much somebody's driveway.
Gotcha.
And
not a whole lot of surprises on this one.
Yeah, I don't really see much. And some years we travel from one end of the county to the other end of the county. It's an all-day affair.
You forget how big this county is. You have to go travel it.
6,095 square miles is a long way to go.
And it takes a minute to get down to the bottom of the boot heel there.
It does. This year, our roads are all in a centralized area, so it should be a couple hours worth of travel and discussions and those sorts of things. Next month, they'll come back and they'll actually make the decision and vote on the roads. Now that they have the freeholders report, now that they've seen them themselves, now that they've reviewed all this, everything has been done. They had the public hearing.
Yeah.
They'll review them and then they'll move forward with a.
So by the
motion
May
on that.
meeting, they should probably wrap this up, or the June.
The May meeting.
The May meeting.
The May meeting, and at the May meeting, the roads that they're accepting, if it's a vacation, that's done as soon as as soon as either the freeholders say it doesn't meet it, it's done, or as soon as the commissioners say, yeah, we'll vacate this road, it's a done deal. The others, they have 6 months to bring them up to standards.
Okay.
And so if it's approved in May, the people know, okay, now I've got to do my part, and they're all going to get together.
I'm going to take a guess the road department takes it over the overseeing and making sure that their road is in compliance.
Once the people that have the road say, I think we're ready, they contact our road superintendent, Joe West, and he goes out.
Gives his blessing on it.
And says, yeah, this looks good, or
Nope,
need a little
work on
gravel
this yet,
here, or whatever the case is. But again, like I say, we're pretty forgiving on that. It's just we can't take something that's got 6 foot deep holes and no bar ditches.
That would be bad stewardship of taxpayer dollars. To do
absolutely, it would. So that's was done yesterday. It's an annual occurrence, and it sometimes can be quite exciting, and sometimes can be.
But this one looks
pretty germane.
This one seems to be a pretty garden variety.
Yeah, it's nice
season for it.
Great. we have some good news. So we've been working for a few years. In fact, I put it in, I think 8 or 9 years ago, I put in the Cultural Plaza for Chatham County as an ICIP project, Infrastructure Capital Improvement Plan, which, by the way, we're starting that for this year. So we'll be having updates
those
on
discussions
that, on
and
what projects the county
updating the
looks
list.
forward to doing for the next 5 years. So we have a project at the Cultural Plaza. And that's largely due to the fact that Main Street Roswell was able to get a grant, and they came to us and said, "Hey, do you have a place we can utilize this money to do this?" We said, "Absolutely, we do. We have this Cultural Plaza," and so we've been out for bids. We went out for bids, and trying to remember exactly the scenario, but we didn't get a contractor. We went out twice. The second time, we had a contractor that bid on it, but it was well over 10% higher than the estimated cost, which, since it had been out before, we were able to do an open market negotiation. So we went out to some contractors that we knew were interested, because there were several said they were interested, but then they didn't follow through with a bid. And the one that followed through came in with something that was way higher. And, of course, we let them know, this is pretty much what we have to spend. What can you do for that amount?
Right.
And so we went ahead and accepted an agreement. So we had 2 bids after the open market negotiation. One of them came back at $2 million without gross receipts tax. One of them came in at, trying to make sure my stuff adds up, 2.4 without gross receipts tax. So one of them came in at 2.6 without gross receipts tax. One came in at $2 million without gross receipts tax. So and there was an ad alternate of $140,000 for one of the structures that goes there. And we felt like we needed to do that at the same time. So the total is $2.4 million with gross receipts. We accepted the $2 million thing, added the ad alternate. And once we got gross receipts on, it's 2.4. That's essentially what we have to spend on that project. So the negotiation paid off, but it has taken a long time to get contractors. There's just so few of them and so many projects to do. People are from out of town.
And we're still dealing with flooding stuff, and a lot of contractors are still tied up with that work, and they don't have time to take on this kind of stuff.
And there's a lot of contractors who are residential contractors, and it takes different tests, of course, to be a commercial contractor, different specialties and that. And this particular project has a couple of specialized trades needed. So, I mean, that all narrows down your field of people who can do it. And so we finally can announce that we have a contractor in place, and we're going to get started on building that Cultural Plaza with the downtown bathrooms, so now the venue with the stage for people to...
So does that put a timetable now? Like, now that we got a thing in place, on a year from now, 2 years from now, we can expect to see something?
I think that we gave them 288 days completion time. I'm not 100% sure, so please nobody quote me. But it's going to take a little while, but I would expect probably 14 months or so we should be completed with it.
So maybe by next summer.
Yeah. And it'll be a nice addition to our community. It certainly will. It'll help in situations where we have a lot of events on the courthouse lawn.
I was going to say, maybe just in time for next year's UFO festival. And all that.
It'll help take some of the pressure off the lawn. Some events will still need to happen on the courthouse lawn.
Well, it's right there in the heart of downtown, and it's a good piece of property to do things like that.
But this other location just behind the courthouse, it has adequate parking.
Absolutely.
It'll have lots of shade structures. It'll have a stage where people can
It's only
perform.
a block off the main street, so it's not going to tie up too much there. But it's
another
close
big shade structure you can sit under and not so it'll really lend itself well to a lot of different things.
And I think some of our events that are tradition there in the courthouse lawn will evolve to some things. Like, who knows, like maybe the farmers markets may shift over there.
Well, and that's what we're thinking, rather than blocking Fifth or Fourth Street, that might work better. They can park their trailers in the big parking lot.
People have to try to cross the street and weave, and I see it every Saturday morning. People they'll park over, say, on this side of the road and try to kind of meander over. And it's a busy Saturday morning. That's a hopping.
It's very busy. And that was, honestly, part of the reason we wanted to do it. One was to provide bathrooms for downtown to take some of the pressure off the downtown businesses during things like UFO Festival. And the other thing is to hopefully help stop blocking streets in some instances.
Let the city flow
but
that needs to flow, but
and take
still
the
have
pressure
our
off the lawn. You know, it's a really exciting. It will be an exciting venue. It'll be, I think, very well received, and it'll be just like the courthouse lawn. If someone needs to use it, all they have to do is make arrangements with the county. Okay, I'm going to need it on this weekend, and
downtown
provide
concerts.
an insurance policy to show that it's covered while you're there.
I can imagine so many downtown concerts and things just happening right there and all that.
And like when the UFO festival is here, it'll be opened up so people can use the downtown bathrooms, you know, or you know, now we have Rah-Rah coming. We will certainly have a big influx of people downtown checking things out. Be a perfect time for those downtown bathrooms to be open so that the businesses can still welcome people in, and yet there's a public bathroom that can be used.
That's right. We're pumping all that green chili in, and we got to have a place for them to let it out somewhere.
Yes, very true. Very true.
Sorry, I had to go there.
So, one other thing we did, we passed a resolution for deletion of property and the disposition of that deleted property. And most of that's pretty boilerplate. You know, it's excess computer screens or old vehicles or whatever. And most of that's disposed of through Gov Deals. This time, and this happens from time to time, we actually had 2 of the vans from the veterans. You know, we have the veterans vans that
the veteran transport, the
veterans transport.
They're always looking
vans.
for volunteers, by the way.
They do a wonderful job.
Yeah.
They put more miles on. They get people to where they need to be,
and they cover all of southeast New Mexico. They got folks in Hobbs and Carlsbad in that area, here in Roswell, taking vets to doctor's appointments in Lubbock, Artesia, Albuquerque, wherever they need to go.
And you know, they're kind of the gold standard for people that want to do this sort of thing. People look at them and say, wow, you guys are doing a really good job with that. You're really creating that. They put a lot of miles, like you say, on their vehicles, and so we work with them pretty regularly to get new vehicles.
Thanks to, you know, county, there's a couple other private that really help that organization go. They're pretty good on vehicles. Where they need is the volunteers. They need drivers because they to be honest, they got enough vehicles. They don't have enough drivers. They really need the drivers.
Because they really do cover a lot of ground.
Yeah.
But they're also helping others to be able to do the same thing. So they had 2 vans that are replaced. They're brand new.
But still have a little shelf life.
They maintain and take good care of them.
These are all well-maintained.
They're well-maintained,
they just have a lot of miles
with lifts and stuff in some cases.
Yeah.
So they're going to donate 2 of their old vans because they got new vans.
Nice.
And I think they're going to Ruidoso area.
And they'll probably get a great life out of them out there, too. Because they're perfectly good. They just probably have a couple 100,000 miles on them. That's different.
Well, it could very well be that. They do a wonderful job.
But some of those are just getting broke in at that.
Well, that's true. So 2 of the vans will be disposed of by donation, which is fine to another government.
It'll find another use.
Entity like that. You know, that can be done.
Love it.
And the other thing is we're going to donate a microfiche reading machine to Harding County.
Do they still use those?
Apparently they do.
Like I remember in school, in the library, that's the only time I ever used microfiche. Mm-hmm. I was like, is that still a thing?
Yeah, apparently they still.
I thought the internet killed the microfiche.
They have a lot of records. They even have microfilm at Chavis County office.
So maybe they got it.
Microfilm and
converted that over to digital or whatever yet.
Well, in many cases they have, but there's still a lot of old records, and for whatever reason we have an extra microfiche machine, and we're sending that to Harding.
Any microfiche machines? I don't extra microfiche machine.
You know, years ago at Estes International. The parts department had microfiche, had rows and rows of any part you could need for a tractor from the beginning of time or truck. And you pull out your card and Robert Katz, Destry Tucker, there were some others that were just excellent at that. You could just look at them. They knew which part you needed, reach into this 1,000 things and pull that card out and put it in the microfiche machine and go right to the page and said, how many do you want? You know, those guys were just amazing.
It is.
And to find stuff on it is a real task.
Oh, yeah. I remember trying to, because I used it, remember looking up old newspaper clips for history class or something. And it was, it takes a minute. Yeah, back in school days. That's the only time I ever used a microfiche. But now, if you tell me you got a bunch of ditto machines in there, too, I'm going to be like, what do you guys do?
the smell of making the old
nothing like a freshly dittoed paper.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. That
fresh
was something.
dittoed pepper, yeah.
We had one more invitation to bid that was approved. The award recommendation was approved for inmate supplies for CCDC, because as you know, we have to supply everything, whether it's our toothpaste, toothbrushes, combs,
you are
toilet
providing,
paper.
Everything they need to live, you are providing it.
Everything, and anything they need, they have. Of course, we don't, have large rolls of toilet paper because people will take that whole roll and shove it in there and flush it and try to flood the entire area.
Or
in some cases,
use it for other illegal activities that they can figure. Prison ingenuity. I've watched enough stuff online. They can take anything that you think seems very mundane and make it into some kind of thing to make fire or something.
It is amazing.
There's a bunch of MacGyvers
how
in there.
Intelligent the people in jail are.
You become MacGyver in there.
Anyway, we awarded the bid to two separate vendors because some of them don't have everything we need and others have what we need. We picked the best prices to make sure that we can cover all of the supplies that are needed.
But you have to have certain ones that aren't, like you said, like if you give them a spoon or fork, it's got to be the kind that they can't turn into something else.
They have razors to shave, and they're about an inch and a half long.
Yeah,
so
they can't do anything, or toothbrush. Something is
toothbrushes have to be very small because you can sharpen that and make a weapon out of it.
That's what we're talking about. You have to you can't just give them a bunch of toothbrushes. You got to have a certain kind.
Toilet paper is a different configuration, more like paper towels. Little flat. Things that you can
ain't on the big rolls
and so there's that thing. So we awarded that to Victory Supply and, believe it or not, Bob Barker. So Bob Barker,
not have your pet spayed or neutered, Bob Barker, I'm assuming.
Bob Barker sells detention supplies. They are one of the largest suppliers.
Come on down.
Come on down. And I'm assuming it's a different Bob Barker, but maybe he diversified. And
I'm going to take a stab that, you're probably right. It's a different Bob.
but they're one of the largest suppliers of jail supplies.
Okay.
So like you say, come on down.
That's right.
And we'll get you a tiny toothbrush.
I'm surprised he doesn't put some, let's take a bid on these prison toothbrushes. How much do you bid on this?
Whoever comes the closest to the price without going over. So
what if he gets a lot of hugs?
Absolutely. People love it.
Does he have a skinny microphone like that? Sorry, I went too far.
Yeah, we're all over the place today. Oh, speaking of all over the place, I know your birthday's coming up next week, and I'm not going to see you until next month.
Yes.
So happy birthday in advance.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Speaking of all over the place, I knew I was going to forget.
Yeah, it's actually, I think it's 1 week away next Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I heard you say this morning.
Yeah, 25th.
Oh, man, I've got to remember to tell Mike happy
it's next
birthday.
Friday. Shoot.
So everybody wish Mike happy birthday.
I just realized it was next week. It's 25th. I was still thinking it was way out, but no, it's next Friday.
Oh, when you said 25th, I thought you were trying to pass yourself off as your 25th birthday.
No. I've long lost seen 25.
No offense, but let me cover the mic. I don't want people to hear me say, Mike, we're not buying it.
25 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Second time around on 25. So one other thing we did is we had to ratify approval of some services that we had by J&H Services on the Hagerman Canal. And that had to do with the flooding. The Hagerman Canal doubled kind of as a flood diversion. In some cases, the water came through, it hit the canal, got into the canal, and which prevented it from, flooding some people, but it also blew out because there's such a large amount of water.
Okay.
In this valley, we have to assure that the water is delivered all the way from Roswell down past Hagerman for, in a timely manner. We're an agricultural community.
Absolutely.
And so there were a couple of places that had to be repaired right now so they could get the water turned on. And this was one of those instances. The finance committee, we ran it by them, said, can we go ahead and move forward on this? It's not a huge amount. It was a lot, but it wasn't, millions or anything like that, but it was tens of thousands.
Mm-hmm.
We need to get this fixed so that they can get the water down and so that the roads can be open and all that. So they allowed us to do that. Then, of course, we had to ratify that because the finance committee cannot approve that on their own. But they do have some, they make the recommendation to the board. We think this is a good investment, whatever. So the finance committee did think that it was wise for us to go ahead and move forward with that because of the safety factor. The safety factor alone would allow us to do it.
That trumps everything else.
But certainly they felt like it was appropriate to do that, and then the full commission approved that too. So I know we're probably running.
Yeah, we got
short
about 2-3 minutes here before we got to get kicked off.
So we did a permission of advertise for an ordinance for a franchise agreement with LECO Rural Telephone. And
Okay.
real quick, I want to tell you, of course, I wasn't here last month. Prior to that, we'd been doing a lot of town hall meetings for the National Interest Electric Transmission Corridor. 1.8 million acres in New Mexico alone that would be potentially condemned for a transmission corridor.
Yeah, this is a
Don't
weird
have a
thing.
problem with transmission lines going where they need to do, but why do you need a 5-mile wide or 15-mile wide swath that is
Right.
Managed by the federal government?
He thinks it's for something else.
And yeah, we were very concerned. Condemnation, half the town of Portales would have been gone.
Right, yeah.
Or still, it's still on the table. I mean, this has not gone away. However, in this time period, our counties, and there's 8 counties in New Mexico that are involved in this. We've all banded together. We created a resolution. I was the poster child and got to present that at NACO. So we have an interim resolution at National Association of Counties. When we went to Washington, I presented that to 3 separate subcommittees. It was approved by all 3 unanimously. And so it's an interim resolution that they're going to support. In June, it goes out on the main floor. If they should choose to accept that, to oppose the National Interest Electric Transmission Corridors, then NACO, National Association of Counties, will lobby on our behalf to Congress. And they have a large lobbying effort. So we made some headway with little old New Mexico and our town hall meetings, and people just coming out and speaking up and letting their government know what's going on. And we let our big government know you are required by law to coordinate with local governments so that we can assist and so that we can tell you what our land use plans are. Anything that takes away multiple use of lands is not a good thing.
No.
If you're going to dedicate that just strictly for renewable energy and take it away from oil and gas, what have we gained?
Yeah.
So anyway, I knew we are out of time, but I wanted to be sure and cover the fact that
absolutely
that our New Mexico counties have stood strong once again, and we made some headway. It's not
the fight's
over
not
yet.
over, but you're moving the needle.
We absolutely are.
Yeah.
In fact, there was a lot of movement this week on a lot of different things. Voluntary vacations, not total vacations, voluntary rescissions of a lot of initiatives by federal agencies been done over the last many years.
Okay.
Now we're working. One of the ones was the lesser prairie chicken. They said we no longer feel that we no longer feel that we have the proof that we need to do what we're doing. And in the lesser
That's
prairie
government
chicken's
work where
case,
it's all BS.
Yeah, but we're in a lawsuit with them. Of course, we want to be sure that they fully vacate that because if they
you don't
come
want this
back, they
rearing
want
its
to
ugly
start
head.
over.
Yeah.
But we've got that with the conservation
Got to
rules.
pick that zit out by the head and everything else.
Several other things are been wins, but they're not gone.
Gotcha.
But thank you.
Well, thank you, sir. We'll see you next time. Happy Easter, and we'll see you next time.
Looking forward to it.
All
Happy
right,
birthday.
Thank you. 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
Pages of records relating to the 1968 assassination of Senator Robert F. Kennedy have been released. It continues a disclosure of national secrets ordered by President Trump. National Intelligence Director Tulsi Gabbard says the RFK files release will shine a long overdue light on the truth. New York City and its suburbs, scene of one of the latest illegal immigration crackdowns.
Authorities say 206 illegal immigrants with criminal records have been arrested in the New York City area by ICE agents. The arrest focused on the Big Apple, Long Island, and the lower Hudson Valley during an enhanced operation from April 6th through the 12th. ICE officials say more than half of those apprehended had significant criminal convictions or are currently facing charges for serious crimes such as murder and assault, and some were gang members. New York City Mayor Eric Adams backed the arrest. Tasha Stevens reporting.
President Trump is unloading on Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell.
When it comes to his feelings about the man running the nation's central bank, the president isn't holding back.
I don't think he's doing the job. He's too late, always too late, a little slow, and I'm not happy with him.
Donald Trump is upset with Fed Chairman Jerome Powell for not aggressively cutting interest rates. He's threatening to fire Powell, saying if I want him out, He'll be out of there real fast. Greg Clugston, Washington.
The 20-year-old accused of a deadly shooting at Florida State University, Tallahassee, is the son of a sheriff's deputy. 2 people were killed, 6 others injured in yesterday's attack. The suspect, Phoenix Eichner, was shot and wounded by police. They responded to the scene outside the student union. No trading today on Wall Street as the U.S. financial markets are closed in observance of Good Friday. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
Secretary of State Rubio says the U.S. may move on from efforts for a Russia-Ukraine peace deal if there's no progress in the coming days. He spoke in Paris following a marathon day of landmark talks among U.S., Ukrainian, and European officials. Rubio says the discussions have been constructive and produced an outline for steps toward peace. French officials say a new meeting in the same format is expected in London in the coming days. Rubio says he could join the meeting. It's expected early in the week. Republican and Democratic lawmakers are making their first trip to Taiwan under the new Trump administration, a bipartisan one. The 3 senators are pushing to message both Taiwan and China that U.S. support for Taiwan's defense remains broad. Republicans Pete Ricketts and Ted Budd and Democrat Chris Coons are set to talk with Taiwan's president and defense minister later today. News and analysis at townhall.com. It was on this day 250 years ago, Paul Revere began his famous ride from Charlestown to Lexington, Massachusetts, warning the colonists that the British are coming. A student of American history, military affairs analyst, retired Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis, says it was a long list of grievances that drove the colonists, despite overwhelming odds, to take on the mighty British Empire.
Beginning 1770, of course, you had the Boston Massacre, and 1773, the famous Boston Tea Party, and then, of course, in 1774, the year prior to, Concord and Lexington, we had, the British government decided they were going to close down the harbor.
Metropolitan Boston has been busy preparing for the festivities, expecting many visitors from all over the country. Among commemorations, a lantern service at Old North Church. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel wishing, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome. I mean welcome.
Bienvenidos.
to hour number 3.
Trace and Viernos.
We going international.
That's right.
Good
Electric
Friday, everybody.
Boogaloo.
That's right. Good Friday, everybody.
And to you.
I think they should make a congressional act. Every sequel to a movie should be called Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yep. Whatever it is, something to Electric Boogaloo. It doesn't matter what it is. Gone with the Wind 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Electric Boogaloo. That's
I don't care what it is.
Citizen Kane 2.
Every
Electric
sequel
Boogaloo.
from here on out will be to Electric Boogaloo.
I present to you Ben-Hur 2. Electric Boogaloo.
Exactly.
I like it. It's exciting. So of all of these, people are saying that this could be the renaissance or the renaissance, if you prefer, of the comedic or of the spoof movie. Because there's so many of them.
Naked Gun?
Yeah, because of Naked Gun, but because of the announcement of Scary Movie 6. I'm hearing rumblings. Nothing's confirmed.
Are they doing not another teen movie?
See, that's where it goes wrong. That's where it goes wrong. If you keep these franchises in good hands that can do good things with them, I think we could have a renaissance on our hands. But I do hear tell there are some rumblings of a Police Academy reboot.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to bring the Goot back?
They're going to bring. I don't know if
I feel like Goot's got to be Commandant Lassard now.
Nothing is confirmed.
Like,
but
I
I've
feel
just
if they
heard,
do this, the Goot's got to be the new Lassard.
Essentially, what happened was an interview was put out or leaked that they said if it was ever going to happen, it needs to happen now.
Well, it is a time. And I'm telling you, because, well, we lost Tackleberry. We lost Ed Too Tall Jones.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who else from the cast is missing, but we got Bobcat.
Still got Bobcat.
We
got the Goot.
We got the Goot. We got sound effects guy.
Michael Winslow.
Right out of my
I was going to say Michael Winslow.
Michael Winslow.
Yeah.
Thank you. I can remember his name.
Yep. I mean,
that's the only one I do remember.
I think the nerd dude's still around. The guy that hung out with Bobcat Goldthwait, the little dude. He had the broke arms and all. Remember? He was kind of like Bobcat Goldthwait's partner once Bobcat Goldthwait became a cop.
Several actors who were part of the original Police Academy are still alive and have continued their careers. Leslie Easterbrook is still with us. Sergeant Steve Guttenberg. I guess it would have been quicker to see who's not.
I think the only one is Tackleberry, Bubba Smith. I said Too Tall Jones. I meant Bubba Smith. I think there's one other. Well, Commandant Lassard, I don't think is with us anymore. The guy who played him. You think he's passed. Janet Jones is still around. And you're like, who's
How many
that?
did they make? Like 6?
That's Wayne Gretzky's wife, but she was in Police Academy. The one where they went to Miami.
How many did they make? Like 6?
6 of them?
I think so, yeah.
Matter of fact, I think the last couple of Police Academies don't even have Gutenberg in it. Like, I think like the last one or two, even Gut backed out after a while. But
yeah, he was like, I don't need that check.
Yeah, I don't think Michael Winslow ever left, though.
Okay.
I think he's in all of them.
So I wasn't here. So I'm not sure if you even talked about it, but I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure you've seen the trailer for the new Naked Gun.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
We
I'm
did,
sure you. We did talk about it. We did talk about it. I'm still, the jury's still out my head. I like Seth MacFarlane comedy, so I'm hopeful.
Well, and of all people who understands the Naked Gun, I'm sure it's him.
Yeah,
because he references it all the time in Family Guy.
Constantly.
I'm a little apprehensive as Liam Neeson playing the Leslie Nielsen character. I did this last time too.
Liam Neeson.
Yeah, I think we did do that. But I don't. Now don't get me wrong. The times I've seen Liam do comedic things, I found them funny. But he always plays a tough guy being...
It's even more of a challenge for him than it was for...
Frank Drebin is not a tough guy.
No.
Now, he's playing Frank Drebin's kid. That's the premise, is Liam Neeson is Frank Drebin's son.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to take a step. That's where they show the scene with OJ and all that. Have you seen that scene where they're looking at the photos?
Yes.
There's Ed's kid. There's OJ's kid. And I don't know why they're all in the same police department together as kids in the same office. That seems weird, but okay.
Because that's the joke.
Well, if that's the case, then they better have, and then we got to move on because we do have guests, but they better have the inventor guy. Do you remember the guy that was like their X for James Bond.
Right.
And he was like, we're testing this new graffiti fence, and then let's see how it works out. You remember those
Yeah,
scenes?
those are good.
They
yeah.
need his kid in there, too, doing the same thing.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think it's M, but
there was and I've talked about it before, but there's a show on, I think it was on TBS years ago, that was as close to a true to form Police Academy like spinoff that I've ever seen. It was called Angie Tribeca.
Oh, I remember that.
Rashida Jones was in it. It was on for a few seasons.
Yeah.
It was so underrated. You can go back and watch now. It still holds up.
Yeah, it's
still
I remember
hilarious.
seeing a couple. Yeah, it's very that slapstick, fast-paced, Naked Gun era type comedy.
Yeah,
Is this some kind of a bust? It's very impressive, but that's not why I'm here.
They would every time they would like there was a whole thing about product placement. Every time they would cut to a wide shot of like the police academy or whatever, it would just show at the bottom Ford.com. It was just they were in your. It was a very true to form.
To be honest, the success or failure of the Naked Gun movie is going to be the one-liners. Because the whole thing about Naked Gun is the fast quip one-liners that you sometimes miss and don't catch it till a third viewing.
Yeah.
And the other big thing it's going to be is the background
stuff. Yep.
That's half the thing was, there's the main thing and then there's something on fire in the background going on. And, it's like the Chinese fireworks, there's nothing to see here.
Yeah.
That's an example of it, but that's throughout the entire movie.
Right.
If you're not paying attention. Like, I'm telling you, watch the whole baseball segment of the first Naked Gun with Enrico Palazzo. There's about 37 different hidden things all throughout that deal.
Yes, there are.
I was gonna say, did Liam Neeson do anything funny?
Yeah, he's been in.
Yeah, it's all been
McFarlane.
It's all been McFarlane.
I was gonna
stuff.
say, I know he was in 1,000 Ways to Die in the West, but
Besides
well,
that,
he did the bit in Ted 2.
Yeah, well,
That was where he had a cameo in Ted 2.
I haven't seen that one.
That's the one where he goes to the grocery store with
a box of
with
tricks.
The box of tricks cereal. Yeah,
Goes,
it's pretty
I've
good.
been made to understand that these tricks are for kids.
And then
I, as an adult, buy this box of cereal.
I feel like he's done like SNL bits stuff too, like
Probably,
spoofing his character.
And I've said it before, and I'll say it again: if it's going to work, not only is Seth MacFarlane going to have to be true to form to the Zucker style of writing, but Liam Neeson can never do serious work again.
Right. Yeah, because
Leslie Nielsen hung up his dramatic boots or whatever after.
I was going to say,
starting a comedic franchise.
this is even more of a challenge for Liam Neeson than it was for Leslie Nielsen, because Liam Neeson's not known for
Well,
I guess it's kind of the same thing, but
Leslie was initially a serious actor too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did more,
If you go back to the 50s
Like he
and
was the
60s.
original Police Squad guy, which is a comedy, but at the same time it wasn't slapsticky like that.
Yeah.
It was a little more serious. The Police Squad show.
From the files of Police
Yeah,
Squad.
where it actually came from.
I don't think Liam Neeson will be known for comedy after this, though.
Depends. Depends on
if
how many more movies he does. I mean, if he ends it here, then no. But next thing you know, we get Spy Hard 2, Spy Harder, or whatever, whatever other
Spy
Leslie Nielsen
Hardest.
joints that were out there. And now
I don't
Liam Neeson does them.
Dracula, undead, and hating it.
Just like with the Taken, he's the Taken guy, so it's kind of harder to take him.
Right. Well, and then, but here on the other side, how many more of those movies are going to believe Liam Neeson can be that bad, tough dude that he is?
Right.
At some point, that guy is not going to intimidate me. I got a certain set of skills. What does insure? Do these skills insure?
And if you look back at the trajectory of Leslie Nielsen's career,
it's hard, isn't it?
Leslie Nielsen's career, he picked the perfect time to do it because he couldn't really be that dramatic, action actor anymore because, well, you're getting older, your knees are bad. So transition into something a little easier, slapstick comedy.
Oh, other kid you need, Ricardo Montalban's kid.
Yes.
He's got to be the bad guy with the fish.
Looking up at that picture.
All right, Chris Whipperman, Gina Montego going to join us. Some Mind Probe trivia. Talk a little bit about some of their upcoming trivia events, things here. So we're going to have some fun talking trivia. So he's equally as full of useless knowledge as we are. And so we'll talk with that here in just a bit. We'll also get you updated with news and all that good stuff. But first, here's your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We'll have some sunshine today, but we have a cold front dropping in. Very gusty wind at 40 to 50 miles per hour. We'll stay in the low to mid 80s through the day, but we should get some sunshine. Few clouds overnight, mid 40s and windy. We do have a slim chance of a shower on Saturday. It'll be mostly sunny though, and our afternoon high about 70. Still fairly cool on Sunday, mid 70s and sunny. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 73 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 17%. Man, that humidity just keeps dropping. Hence the reason for the red flag warnings in effect through 9 p.m. today and the wind advisory in effect through 7. Winds are calm at the moment. That will change. Expect areas of blowing dust for this afternoon. Sunny. Highs near 80. 79 officially. Winds will be blowing out of the southwest 20 to 25. Increasing 30 to 35. Could see wind gusts as high as 50 miles per hour later today. Clear tonight. Expect an overnight low of 46 degrees. Winds will continue to be blowing out of the west 20 to 30 miles per hour. Gusting as high as 45 miles per hour. After midnight, they don't talk about the winds decreasing, just shifting. So it's going to be windy. Saturday, we'll go with breezy, but there is also a slight chance at rain. A 20% chance of showers. They say between noon and 3 is the best spot. Could see a few isolated thunderstorms after 3, though. Mostly sunny and a high of 73 tomorrow. Winds 15 to 20 out of the north. So breezy, but not crazy, not like today. 20% chance of rain continues into the Saturday evening hours. Otherwise, mostly cloudy. Overnight low of 41 with northwest winds 15 to 20. Gusting as high as 30 miles per hour. Winds will drop down 10 to 15 after midnight. And then for your Easter Sunday, it's the clouds part. Everything's beautiful. Sunny skies, 75 for a high. Winds out of the northwest at around a much more pleasant 10 miles per hour. And then looks like for next week, we'll be in low 80s for Monday, mid 80s through at least Thursday of next week. All right, it is 9:18. We're going to take a 3-minute break, and then Chris and Gina will join us and talking Mind Probe trivia. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
What made Roswell Hyundai the #1 used car dealership in southeastern New Mexico? Great selection, great savings, and great people. Roswell Hyundai has an amazing selection of makes, models, and model years to choose from. If you can't find it, Roswell Hyundai can get it. And Roswell Hyundai will take any trade. The experts at Roswell Hyundai will work with you to get you behind the wheel of your next dream ride. So, what makes Roswell Hyundai the #1 used car dealership in southeastern New Mexico? You do! Come check out the Used Car Supercenter only at Roswell Hyundai, 1909 West 2nd.
The Eastern New Mexico University System is proud to present One Eastern Day, sponsored by J.P. Stone Community Bank on Thursday, May 1st from 4 to 9 p.m. on the campus of Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell. Come join ENMU for a family fun night featuring food trucks, inflatables, info booths, and live music by Roswell's own Grupo Maldad from 7 to 9 p.m. Bring out the whole family May 1st to ENMU Roswell and join us for One Eastern Day. Visit roswell.enmu.edu for more information. Eastern New Mexico University. Student success. That's what we're about.
It's been a long, cold, boring winter, and children in neighborhoods everywhere are waiting to hear those magical words.
The pool's open!
Summer weather has finally rolled around. Make sure your pool is ready. Preparing and maintaining your pool for summer the right way will create a season full of smiles instead of headaches and make your life much easier. Soft Swim, the chlorine-free sanitizing system by BioGuard, only at Mays Lumber Company.
And now through May 15th, buy $100 in BioGuard products and receive a $20 mail-in rebate. 115 South Virginia in Roswell.
This is the time of year we can get all 4 seasons in just one day. Hi, this is Ben Manette from Roswell Seed Company. 1 minute you're sweating in the sun, and the next minute you've got slush in your shoes. But that's winter in Roswell, and after 127 years, we're starting to get used to it. It's too early to plant very much, but you can fertilize pecan trees, spray for dandelions, order your bees, and pick up a new seed catalog. So come see us at Roswell Seed. Like Jim Gill would say, enjoy the warm days, but don't go far from the fire.
Lyrics of an old hymn titled One Day paint a beautiful picture. One day the grave could conceal him no longer. One day the stone rolled away from the door. Then he arose, over death he had conquered. Now is ascended my Lord evermore. Living he loved me, dying he saved me. Buried he carried my sins far away. Rising he justified freely forever. One day he's coming, oh glorious day. What a great song. Prior to his death, Jesus shares the following words as he consoles a friend who had lost her brother. He says, "I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live even though they die, and whoever lives by believing in me will never die." He gave these words to comfort not only Martha, but also to comfort and support us as we journey through this life. By dying, Christ destroyed the power of death. By rising, he restored our life. Easter is the day the world may celebrate this, but it's worth celebrating every day. We welcome you to join us this Sunday as we celebrate the power of the resurrection.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. You burn more calories sleeping than you do watching television. For the ultimate workout, fall asleep in front of the TV. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is closing in on 22 minutes after 9 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning from Mind Probe Trivia this morning, Chris Whipperman and Gene Montague. Mark Salas joining us as well. Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Good morning.
In unison and everything. Pretty cool.
We've rehearsed that all morning.
Yeah, deal. Of course, you might have seen, Chris, with the, you do your Mind Probe Trivia all over town, various restaurants and places, and, theme nights from Friends to 90s to movies to history.
Harry Potter. We've done a little bit of everything. Yeah. It's really been, we've been doing this a couple years now, so it's really been a lot of different topics over the time.
Yeah, but now you're putting your skills of trivia to the philanthropy work and working with some nonprofit and trying to get some money raised.
We've had this idea for a couple years to do on May the 4th to do some sort of Star Wars trivia, and Mark approached us and said he was looking to do some sort of fundraiser, and we figured this would be the perfect opportunity to team up with somebody.
Yeah, so Mark, talk a little bit about what your organization is and what you guys do.
Well, we just started. We're Roswell Night Skies.
Okay.
We're going to be doing some family and youth-based events.
Okay.
We're starting off with Movies in the Park starting May 30th.
Good deal.
And, everything's just so expensive and takes time and money to get going.
Well, people like to get paid when you show movies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so, you can't just roll up and start showing a movie without getting permissions to do that. And that costs money sometimes.
Yeah.
So good deal. So just kind of community outreach kind of stuff, working with families and kind of start with, movies, getting folks gathering here.
And we'll be kind of building more and more each year, but we figured this is a good jumping off point for our first year.
Well, I would, if I can offer a recommendation, there's some great group, like Food Not Bombs, and there's some other groups that maybe you can start knocking on their doors and invite them to part of these events and kind of get a more community fingerprint coming out to this kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So, be a good deal. But in the meantime, we can get everyone to come on out here May the 4th.
Yeah, May the 4th. It'll be at 4 p.m. at the American Legion. That's the one up there, I think.
On Montana.
On Montana,
It's Post 28's facility there.
Right. I think it's 1620 North Montana, kind of up by the swimming pool and all that stuff.
Yeah, not far from the Joy Center and all that stuff, right there in Montana.
Yeah, so they've got a great facility there that we're going to have 20 teams. So.
Well, they got their big Legion hall, so you can fit everybody in there.
Yeah,
they
have
not in the bar side, but in their hall.
No. Although we are hoping if anybody wanted to come watch, that you could come hang out in the bar, and we're planning on maybe trying to have a live stream.
So that you can watch on the TV.
Yeah, so you could go, if you've got some family members on a team in there, you could come up and support them and watch them and be there during the event.
But this is a chance to win cash prizes.
Yeah, so Mark,
so we've got a $250 first place prize.
Okay.
We'll be doing some door prizes as long as silent auction items as well. We've got a few laptops, gift baskets.
Okay. So some things that you could actually use.
Yes,
nice.
But you have to register by May 1st.
Okay.
It's not keychains and koozie cups. There's some good stuff there. Yeah.
But register, get your team signed up.
Yeah. So
how many's in a team?
So we recommend 2 to 8 players.
Okay.
And so it's $100 a team, but I mean, if you have 8 players, that's $12 a person.
Yeah,
that's not that much money.
That's less than a cost of a burger or something right now.
Yeah. And that includes a slice of pizza and a soda, right?
Yeah.
And then there'll be a cash bar available for anybody who'd like to partake.
Yeah, you got about the Legion there.
Yeah, and there may be some other food and stuff available, some snacks. So should be a great time to come up and just hang out and raise some money for a good cause. Some free events for teens in this town is a pretty rare opportunity.
Absolutely.
So Mark's idea of putting on some movies and some other things over time, this is going to be great for our
community,
city.
Just community community outreach kind of thing. Stuff like that.
And of course, who doesn't love Star Wars?
Well, I'm saying this is your chance. All the Star Wars experts out there, time to put your money where your mouth is, so to speak, and let's sign up for the trivia. And how obscure do you get with Star Wars trivia? I grew up. I know all the Star Wars. I'm pretty well versed.
Right.
I'm not what you would call an uber fan. I'm not going to know who the third Jedi on the right is from what thing and that thing and all that.
Yeah.
I'm not that knowledgeable, but I know who Yoda is. I know the story. You know what I mean? I know the Star Wars.
Well, that's kind of the challenge is putting questions together for all of my trivias. Is trying to come up with stuff that's difficult but not too difficult.
Sure.
And so I will say this. So I've been asked about what sort of trivia is this going to be over the entire the TV series and the books and the
all things Star Wars.
So I'm going to mainly focus on the main movie storylines.
Okay.
So what are the 9 movies?
The 9 movies.
Yeah, I'm going to mainly focus. I mean, there may be some, like maybe a question about who's related to who or something like that. But generally speaking, going to stick with the movies because that's.
If you stick with what usually is generally fan consensus.
Mm-hmm.
Less questions on episode 1.
I could guarantee you there will be many Jar Jar Binks references made throughout the night.
A lot on episode 4, not so much on episode 1.
Right. Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, see, for people our age, we're like Star Wars, the first movie was in 1977.
But that's episode 4 if you get into the
But going to keep it kind of on the main movies just because, gosh, with everything going on, I can't even keep up with how many different series there are.
Well, they just another one. Season 2 of Andor just popped up.
Yeah, and so it's tough to ask questions about stuff like that's coming out now because a lot of people haven't had a chance to watch it. So we'll stick with stuff that people have had a chance to watch.
Stick to the main. I guess MCU's been stolen, but we'll call it the SWCU, the main SWCU of the 9 movies.
Well, you got 2 weeks to watch them all. You know, you got a couple weeks to prepare.
Well, I'm going to take a stab. They're probably on a TV channel somewhere this weekend.
Disney. Yeah, if you got
Easter
Disney
weekend, they were going to have some Star Wars marathon.
Yeah, Disney has all the Star Wars movies on it. So if you got Disney Plus, you can get that, or you could probably, I'm sure you could get them on Prime.
Well, usually, because it's all Disney, which I think is HBO. So a lot of times TNT and TBS, I think they have access to all the Star Wars movies.
Oh yeah, but then you're talking a 3-hour movie is 9 hours long with commercials.
Oh yeah, you don't have to sit through the commercials.
Yeah. So I got a couple Star Wars jokes for you if you're up for it, Mike.
I got them.
Okay, so here's your first one. Where did Luke get his cybernetic hand?
I saw the movies. The robot guy put it on. I don't know, Handmart.
Got it from the secondhand store.
Secondhand store.
Yes.
There it is. I knew it was somewhere in there.
What Star Wars character sells hot dogs?
This could go in so many directions.
It would be Admiral Snack Bar.
I was like, Boba Fett.
Do you know what R2-D2 is short for?
No.
It's because he's got little legs. Right. Yeah. So I've got a couple more. This was tough. Why did movies 4, 5, and 6 come before 1, 2, and 3? Because in charge of directing Yoda was. Yeah.
That's a deep cut right there.
Yeah. I could only do that one once, and I'm emotionally drained after that. But anyway.
But yeah, come. It's gonna be a fun night. Come out. Have some pizza. Bring your friends and start up. You sign up your teams. Who knows? You could win $250.
Yeah.
Your team can win.
And I want to stress, this is a trivia tournament, so I do plan on several rounds of Star Wars trivia, but I'm going to, these are going to be some hardcore trivia folks. We've already got some people that are getting all their ringers together for a team.
So, there will be hard trivia.
Yeah, I'm going to do a couple, maybe some periodic table questions or some science or some, so there'll be some other stuff in there for the real diehard trivia people, but
gotcha.
But yeah, so and then we'll have some fun, some jokes. We've said maybe people could dress up, do little costume contest or something.
Come out in your Jedi robes or your stormtrooper gear, whatever or whoever. Or this is where people. That's where they get creative because they make their own identities and like I'm a Jedi and kind of like when you get the cosplay world. They're Jedis that I don't think they're actually like real in the movie, but they've created their own versions to live in that universe.
During the UFO festival, you get some of those real hardcore cosplay folks, and those and even Comic Con.
They give them a backstory and everything else. Yeah, and it's kind of so they're just like a guy in the universe, so to speak. You know what I mean? It's like when you watch. To be honest, if you watch some of the Andor and some of these other, you get a lot more of that kind of life. It's like Oh yeah, we got Luke and all these guys running around, and but these are just the people that run the watch shop down the street. You know what I mean? All this is going on. Yeah. It's like if you ever seen the movie Clerks, the original Clerks, one of the funniest discussions that they have in that movie is there's a scene where they blow up the Death Star. They're talking about Star Wars, and he goes, I feel bad for all those people. He goes, what about because the Death Star wasn't quite completed. So, there's a lot of contractors and guys like working on the lights and things like that. Those people didn't have a stake in this game. They're just here trying to earn a paycheck to feed their families. And here are the rebels come in to blow up the Death Star.
Right. That's
one of the funniest discussions
ever.
Very funny.
That is very funny. Yeah. Oh my.
But so if that's your game, then bring it to the American Legion here on May 4th.
And if you want to kind of get an idea of how we do our trivia, we have trivia available usually several times a week right now. Will be tonight.
So you guys are out each week or out someplace?
Yeah, in fact, right now through the months of April and May, we are at Peppers on the Patio every Tuesday night. So Tuesday nights at 6:30 at Peppers, weather permitting. We did have to cancel one because of wind.
I think next week could be all right.
Yeah. And then every Wednesday night, this is a standing. We are at the American Legion there on North Montana,
where this event will be here.
Where this event that's becoming pretty big. We've got a good regular crowd of folks that come hang out with us on Wednesdays. So that's a good thing to do. Next Thursday, we will be at the Liberty. Liberty for our kind of regular.
Yeah, you pop in there on a regular.
Usually a couple times a month. This month they had a couple concerts scheduled.
They had a busy month at the Liberty.
They have been very busy there, but. And we did here a few weeks back. We did a Sunday afternoon family-friendly trivia at Pecos Winery, and that was a sellout. We packed every table in there, so we're hoping we'll have some more of those to announce soon.
Good.
So yeah, we've got some good events going on, and this should be a lot of fun.
But this will be kind of a Super Bowl of mine.
It will be. Yeah, we're gonna be
Star Wars, obviously.
A little more strict with the rules. Making sure nobody's using phones or
no cheating devices.
No, we're gonna have some people watching for that. So
hands must remain on the table at all times.
And you already know one of our close associates who has already put a team together, who is a big Star Wars fan.
T-Beard is a Star Wars like, and this is how I know.
Mm-hmm.
He's got my Disney Plus password. I see everything that man watches.
Oh no! Don't tell anybody that.
I know how many times he's watched Anakin and everything else.
Oh wow!
Like every obscure Star Wars cartoon that's on there.
I never thought about it. I need to think real quick about who might have any of my passwords. I didn't realize
that. I gave it to him years ago. And every once in a while I get on there like, oh, now he's watching this series.
So wait a minute. So you could shut that off on him.
Well, theoretically I could.
Wow.
For the right bidder, I can shut that one down.
The power you have over him.
Of course, I can't unlearn him what he already learned, but any new pretended stuff I can shut down.
Yeah.
He's and the only time it's a problem, like when I want to watch it. Like it's a certain like, well, I care about this one, so I'm going to mess up. I don't care what episode you're on. I'm starting from the beginning.
Wow. You didn't even let him create like his own profile or anything? You guys are watching the same thing?
I don't think Thomas has that kind of knowledge to prepare his own profile. This is a man who literally he has zero. He's got a high tech, but he's got a
guy. You're right, Bill.
This is TB we're talking about. He ain't got what we call the computer skills.
I would concur to an extent, yes.
But he doesn't know a lot about Star Wars, really. No.
He is very when he heard about this, he was like, "What questions are you asking?" I'm like, I can't tell you that.
Put it this way: like if you go in your house and you got a china cabinet, it's usually filled with china. Not his. It's filled with a Millennium Falcon. Star Wars figures.
Yeah. Yes, it is. And a couple cowboys.
Some cowboys and Maverick stuff smattered.
That's
in
all
there,
an afterthought. It's the Star Wars stuff that's important.
Occasionally you watch sports too. So
yeah.
But folks, if you've got a Star Wars nerd in your list, bring them together.
Yeah.
Come on out and join us May 4th. Should be easy to remember for all these Star Wars fans. It's the official, unofficial Star Wars holiday now, May the 4th.
Yeah, and we're really hoping that maybe like some of the schools will get together and put a team, or some of the businesses will get put a team together to kind of like compete against each other. It'd be great if we had Loveless versus Chimera,
or maybe a few nonprofits. Get the Kiwanis or one of our Rotaries or something.
Yeah,
put a team out.
Again, what else is there to do in this town? And I mean, $12 if you get 8 people, $12 to come out and have some lunch, have some fun for a few hours. I think that's
and all
pretty
this
good.
Going to set up for your organization and the movies and kind of these different outreach events, and so this is kind of starting the nest egg for that. So
it is
good deal. Excellent. Because so for your plans for the movies, is it kind of like a weekly thing during the summer, monthly thing?
So it'll be every Friday night.
Okay.
Last week in May, going all the way up to August 8th.
Excellent. And what park are you going to be doing all this?
Rusty Cave, right across from the Wool.
Right here, right kind of down. Of course, obviously, with the convention center still working, that was kind of a but that'll be going on. We got plenty of space in the park to do all that.
Yeah.
Not so much soccer playing, but we can show movies there.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Cool, but we'll get you guys back in as we get closer
Appreciate
to those
it.
to talk
Appreciate
about that and remind people and each week in the movies. But I'm going to take a stab at some point. When you get your movies locked down, they'll put a list out and you'll come out and say each Friday night, hey, don't forget on that Friday they're going to be showing E.T. or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Cool deal. But look for that. But in the meantime, start signing up your teams now. What's the best way to sign up your teams for the May 4th event?
Easiest way is go to roswellnightskies.org and follow the registration link.
And it is spelled like the normal night, not like
normal night.
NIGHT, not like you're going out on the nightclub NITE,
Right.
or late night with so and so,
or the armor wearing guy.
Yeah.
KNIGH.
You got the usually it's like late night in NITE, and then there's some and it's all in fluorescent lighting with what's the gas? What's the
argon or neon?
Yeah, that
neon.
bubble lighting and all
yeah.
that. I picture a crescent moon, and then it says late night NITE.
There
Not
you
like that, NIGHT, but RoswellNightSkies.com. .org, I'm sorry. And then you can go and sign up, learn more about your organization. And if you want to volunteer, get involved. I'm sure, Mark, you could probably use a few volunteers to help you with your quote.
Absolutely. It's tough getting volunteers in this town sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I want to stress, get your registrations in because we do have a limited number of seats available. There's only going to be room for 20 tables.
I was about to say, yes, 20. So 20 teams.
20 teams total, yeah. And so please get your registrations in early. We've already got it's filling up fast.
And please, bring some money so we can participate in the silent auction and all that stuff. There's going to be some great things you can bid on. Again, all of it going back to Roswell Night Skies organization.
Yeah, 501c3, so it's a nonprofit.
Yeah, and of course, go to the website, roswellnightskies.org.
Yes.
And start reading up and learning about it. Is this your number, Mark, here on the flyer?
It is,
okay.
Yes.
You can also call Mark if you have any questions, 575-626-1459. Again, 575-626-1459. I know some people don't always do internet things.
That's right.
Want to talk there. But then again, make plans to, and even if you don't want to participate, come on out and watch and enjoy it and cheer on your friends.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't want to, but come on out. The event will start at 4. The doors will open about 3:30 on May 4th. That's Sunday. And even if come and just watch, witness, but if you still got time now, get the first 20 teams. But we want a crowd. We want to get cheering. We want to get bragging rights. We want to make it like a little rock concert in there for all.
And raise some money for a great organization.
And at the end of the day, absolutely.
I was real impressed. Mark said he was going to have some raffles and some what am I trying to say?
Silent auction.
Silent auction stuff. And I thought, okay, well, we'll get like an igloo cooler or something like that. And he's like, yeah, I got some laptops. And I was like, wow, that's some great stuff. So there should be some good silent auction things. And
bid early, bid often.
That's right.
Keep checking back. Now, if you have a team competing, this is why you need at least 2 on your team. Because if right in the middle of the action, but you want to bid on something, you can break loose from it.
That's right. That's right.
There's only one of you. It's kind of hard to do that.
Right. Yeah.
But definitely mark it on your calendars. Sunday, May 4th. It is the Star Wars themed trivia night fundraising night for Roswell Night Skies here. Please sign up, RoswellNightSkies.com. Start brushing up on your Star Wars trivia here. Come hungry. Like I said, cash prizes, $250 for first, $150 for second, $100 for third. Your registration includes pizza and a non-alcoholic beverage, and, of course, a whole night of fun.
That's right. That's right. So, well, Mike, thanks for having us on. We really appreciate it.
Did we miss anything, Mark, you wanted to share that we spaced on? Or
that's it.
Good deal. Chris,
Gina, did we cover it all?
Anything we got?
She's make sure I say all the stuff I'm supposed to say.
She is the keeper of the Chris.
She's yeah. That's a full-time job right there.
My wife is the keeper of the mic.
Yeah.
So,
you know what she has
need
to
handlers.
go through.
I'm a problem.
Yeah. Well, as long as she's got that button for the shock collar in there, she's good to go.
Right, yeah.
Gets me back in
Or
line.
at the bare minimum, the retractable leash.
Yeah. Remember the old garage door opener from 9 to 5 where they put around Dabney Coleman and she hits the garage door opener button and he goes flying up to the ceiling? Yeah, that was
one of the classic scenes.
That is a great scene. Great movie. Well, again, Mike, thank you very much for having us on.
I'm pretty sure that's one of your trivia nights. 9 to 5 trivia night.
I do a lot of Name That Tune, and that's one that I can't do that song anymore because the first two notes everybody knows. That's Dolly right there.
That's a dead giveaway.
Yeah, everybody knows Dolly.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of like that scene from I think it's Wayne's World at the guitar shop where the guy plays the first two notes of
Stairway. Yeah. Did you see the sign, man?
Yeah, same deal.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys,
All right,
and
appreciate it.
We'll see you here on the 4th.
All right, thanks, Mike.
Good
Thank
deal.
you.
Thank you. It is 9:41. Let us pause for the newses of the local variety. We got your Hannity update. Got a couple ads to pay for late lunch. So let's do all that, and then we'll wrap up the show. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Now for your Pecos Valley news update. I'm Jared Sorello. For the second time this month, a Roswell police officer finds himself jailed and arrested. This time, RPD confirms the arrest of Officer Thomas Troy, who is in trouble for harassing an ex-girlfriend. The woman told police that Troy arrived at the home of her current boyfriend and began banging on the door. Troy allegedly remained at the property about 20 minutes until police arrived. The woman said this type of behavior had become a pattern for Troy, whom she said she had broken up with months earlier. Troy, who is 21 years old, has been a Roswell officer since March of 2023. Yesterday, we reported the arrest of Officer Brandon Spates over a domestic violence incident with his girlfriend. Portions of roads on the west and southwest sides of Roswell Air Center will be closed during the daytime for a week in May as the National Championship Air Races conduct its pylon racing seminar. That will help prepare pilots and race staff for the air races that are scheduled to make their Roswell debut in September. The road closures will be in effect beginning May 19th through the 23rd. That week, the road closures Monday and Tuesday will be 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., Wednesday 7 to 5:30, and Thursday and Friday 7 to 5:45. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
Turn up your radio. Here's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
Very interesting. The judge that helped the Democrats cover up their Russia hoax is now threatening to prosecute Trump officials for ignoring his verbal order. Boasberg is back in the news. Judge Boasberg. He said the court had ultimately determined the Trump administration's actions on the March 15 deportation flights, which took place after he issued a bench ruling ordering the immediate return to U.S. soil, demonstrate a willful disregard for the court, insufficient for the court to be found in criminal contempt, which is sufficient, rather. And should they fail to answer his question by April 23rd, he said he will refer the matter for potential prosecution. Here we go again, more lawfare.
Check out the Sean Hannity radio show later today, right here.
Artificial intelligence, AI, it's all you hear about. But how far away is it? And what are the potential threats from AI that could totally upend the way Americans live their lives? What will it do to the job market? What will the unemployment rate be? What does it mean for data privacy or cybersecurity? How about the banking system or national security? The ECB has already warned about a bubble in AI stocks. Could this spread to other sectors? If you have $50,000 or more saved for retirement, this may not be the time to wait and find out. Learn how you could help protect your life savings using precious metals like gold and silver. Right now, you can get a free gold and silver kit from the top-rated precious metals company, Goldco. On top of that, you could get up to a 10% instant match in bonus silver with a qualified account. Visit HannityGold.com or call 855-815-GOLD. One more time, visit HannityGold.com or call 855-815-GOLD.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. A lot of baseball, softball games yesterday. And let's go to the scoreboard. It was a wild one between Roswell and Hobbs, with the Coyotes winning at home 12-1. They got 4 home runs in the game. Savino Sanchez 3 for 3 with 2 doubles and a home run and 3 RBIs. Meanwhile, it was Goddard winning on the road At Lovington, this is baseball. 19-2 was the final score. NMMI wins a couple at San Diego Prep in Albuquerque, 8-0. First game, 20-1 in the second game. Softball action yesterday. Goddard wins at Portales. Viviana Morales, the winning pitcher, with a complete game. Final score was 4-1. But Roswell loses a pair at Carlsbad. No problem for the Cave Girls, winning 12-1 and 17-4. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We'll have some sunshine today, but we have a cold front dropping in. Very gusty wind at 40 to 50 miles per hour. We'll stay in the low to mid 80s through the day, but we should get some sunshine. Few clouds overnight, mid 40s and windy. We do have a slim chance of a shower on Saturday. It'll be mostly sunny though, and our afternoon high about 70. Still fairly cool on Sunday, mid 70s and sunny. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. U.S. financial markets are closed for Good Friday. Yesterday, the Dow ended the day more than 1% lower at 39,142. The Nasdaq closed a bit lower, while the S&P edged higher at yesterday's closing bell. America's only rare earths mine has been getting lots of calls since China moved to limit exports of 7 metals used in electric vehicles, advanced fighter jets, smartphones, and many other products. The mine in California can't keep up with the U.S. demand for rare earths, which is why President Trump is pushing for the opening of new mines. President Trump is voicing his displeasure with Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. Mr. Trump accuses Powell of often dragging his feet on interest rates, which Mr. Trump wants to see lowered, and the president is threatening to fire the Federal Reserve Chairman. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
Tee up for the 3rd annual Roswell Honda Charity Golf Tournament, Saturday and Sunday, April 26th and 27th at Spring River Golf Course in Roswell, with a double shotgun start at 7:30 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. both Saturday and Sunday. Prizes for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place, as well as longest drive closest to the pin, and a Honda Civic driver and putter with a hole-in-one. Plus, free breakfast and lunch each day and free beer. Don't forget about the Trans-Aero helicopter golf ball drop at 9 a.m. on Sunday. Proceeds this year to benefit the VFW of Roswell, providing support and resources to our local veterans of foreign wars. Sign your team up at RoswellHonda.com or find Roswell Honda Charity Golf Tournament on Facebook to learn more. The 3rd annual Roswell Honda Charity Golf Tournament, Saturday and Sunday, April 26th and 27th at the Spring River Golf Course in Roswell. Sponsored by Pepsi, Southwest Printers, Pecos Valley Broadcasting, Albertsons, Trans-Aero Medevac, ABC Distributors, and Roswell Honda. Together we play for a purpose. Together we make a difference.
Injury, surgery, or illness can set you back, but you don't have to recover alone. At Artesia General Hospital, our rehabilitation services team provides physical, occupational, and speech therapy to help you regain strength, mobility, and confidence. Take the next step toward recovery. Call 575-736-8174 today to schedule an appointment and get back to living life to the fullest.
Edge Safety and Services, LLC in Artesia, New Mexico has an immediate opening for roustabout crew and a safety technician. Position requires a clean driving record and must be able to pass a drug and alcohol screening. Edge Safety offers great pay with IRA benefits and employer contribution towards health benefits. Please email resumes to edgecoding@yahoo.com or apply in person at 2801 North Freeman in Artesia. Edge Safety and Services is an equal opportunity employer.
Lyrics of an old hymn titled One Day paint a beautiful picture. One day the grave could conceal him no longer. One day the stone rolled away from the door. Then he arose, over death he had conquered. Now is ascended my Lord evermore. Living he loved me, dying he saved me. Buried he carried my sins far away. Rising he justified freely forever. One day he's coming, O glorious day. What a great song. Prior to his death, Jesus shares the following words as he consoles a friend who had lost her brother. He says, I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live even though they die, and whoever lives by believing in me will never die. He gave these words to comfort not only Martha, but also to comfort and support us as we journey through this life. By dying, Christ destroyed the power of death. By rising, he restored our life. Easter is the day the world may celebrate this, but it's worth celebrating every day. We welcome you to join us this Sunday as we celebrate the power of the resurrection.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Hey, Mark.
Morning, Sam.
Having the house remodeled?
Nah, I got termites, and they're chewing the place up.
Welcome to the neighborhood. I've got them too.
Really?
Yeah, just had a termite treatment put in.
You did? I didn't see a lot of digging around your house.
That's because I went with the Centricon termite colony elimination system. It's a lot easier to install than what you're doing. They just place bait stations around the house, and then the termites share the bait with each other until the colony is gone. No digging, no chemical solution, just simple protection that's environmentally responsible.
Wow.
Yeah, I even got a green chemistry award from the EPA.
Centricon, huh? I'll be right back.
Hey, where you going?
Tell these guys to stop digging. I'm getting Centricon.
Call Bob Reed Pest Control today for all of Southeast New Mexico. 575-623-5344.
The Roswell Symphony Orchestra presents Kinderman Plays Beethoven, Saturday, May 3rd, 7:30 p.m. at Pearson Auditorium in Roswell. William Kinderman returns to Roswell to perform Beethoven's Piano Concerto No. 5, Emperor, along with works by Weber, Dvorak, and Richard Strauss. Tickets are on sale now and are available at roswellsymphony.org or by calling 575-623-5882. Kinderman Plays Beethoven, Saturday, May 3rd, 7:30 p.m. at Pearson Auditorium in Roswell. Paid in part by the City of Roswell Launders Tax.
Hey, Roswell, during these unprecedented times when others are raising prices, Roswell Ford is lowering ours with employee pricing for everyone. So you pay what we pay. Only at Roswell Ford. Make no payments for 90 days. Upside down in your current vehicle and want out early? Roswell Ford can help you get out of your trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth, regardless of make, miles, or condition. So you can pay what we pay today with employee pricing to all customers on new Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs. And our aggressive finance team will push to approve your credit, even if it's less than perfect. Attention business owners, Roswell Ford has a great selection of commercial vehicles, and we have them for less. Plus, Roswell Ford offers mobile services, so our certified technicians will come to you and perform oil changes, tire rotations, batteries, recalls, and more. Contact us for details. For massive American-made savings and employee pricing for everyone. Get on board at Roswell Ford, 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell. Call 575-623-3673 or online at roswellford.com. Interest accrues from date of sale on select vehicles. Trade balance refinanced to new loan subject to lender approval. Offers not combined. Expires in month's end.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. A group of 12 or more cows is called a flink. If you have only 11 cows, that's called a lot of cow pies. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 9:53. Got a few minutes here before we wrap up today's show. If you missed any part of our show, you can check it out at your leisure. Log on to ksvptv.com. You'll click on the Mornings with Mike Winters channel there, and you'll see all of our interviews. Now, the ones from today, give Roy here about an hour. He'll separate them from the main interview and then have them available for you to download and view and watch and all that good stuff. We had the folks from Victory Outreach here in Roswell. Pastor Pat and Pastor Phil joined us, inviting folks out to their church for Good Friday services tonight. And, of course, their Saturday out in the park and then their Easter Sunday services as well. We had Chavis County Manager Bill Williams join us in the 8 o'clock hour, filling us in on yesterday's county commission meeting. And then we had Chris and Mark talking about their May the 4th Be With You Mind Probe Trivia event for Night Skies, Roswell Night Skies organization there. So had 3 great interviews here today. I got to ask you a question.
Oh,
Sean.
right.
And I saw... Of course, this has been going on for a while, but I saw a new one last night, and it's kind of like, and you know, it's for these commercials for these computer phone games, you know, your Monopolies or whatever, slot games or whatever.
Right.
And are these companies just paying buku bucks because they're getting celebrities? Mm-hmm. They're getting like legit celebrities to do these, like, you know, Mimosa. Those guys are all doing the one.
Mimosa,
that guy, you know, Jason Momoa and all them. I know I just say Mimosa, just the shirt. But what triggered this for me last night was I was watching TV and there was another one for slots or one of these games. I'm sure which one it was. and it was Lisa Kudrow and Monica. What's her name?
Christian Cox.
Yeah, Courtney Cox.
Courtney
Thank
Cox.
you, Monica. I couldn't remember her name, but it was them doing a commercial for this, and of course they make a Friends reference, and I got thinking, like, they don't need the money. I'm sure both of those people are set for life, but I'm just like,
even just on syndication.
I don't know. It's just like,
so
I just feel like it feels like beneath them to be hawking these
Here's
things.
what it comes down to: is those games, or the people that make those games, make so.
I figured that's what it is. They're just throwing so much cash at
money.
Like Drew
They are
Barrymore.
they're swimming in profits off these games, and the system. I'm going to tell you, I know what they are doing, and yet I'm still guilty of,
we
of
all
falling victim to
it's
it.
people that play those games.
It's a dopamine rush.
And they get you.
You just want to feel something for a second, okay? But no, that's what it is. And even if you play like some of the games that I play, there's been in-game ads for other games.
Yeah.
And so I've been getting bombarded with those. But then it's never like half the time it's not the game that you wanted it to be. Like I started playing
that's most of it.
I started playing the game Township because of one of the in-game ads in another game that I was playing, which it showed the game was like that one where you drag your farmer into the thing of eggs, and then you get to sell the eggs and then make the cash. And
Yeah.
That looks like a fun game.
Sure.
That's like
That much of the game.
that much of the game.
Yeah,
the rest of it is you're building a township.
The online advertisements are notorious for that, where you say, come play it, and it looks like this amazing World War II game, and it's none of
It's
that.
never that thing.
But it just, I figured it was, they just have oodles of cash, and they're just throwing at these people. But I'm like,
it's the same reason you constantly see Prize Picks or FanDuel or any of those ads, because they have so much money.
I'm not lying. I'm not gonna lie. I do think a little less of you because you're hawking this.
Exactly. There's a relatively prominent YouTuber
Yeah.
that I watch, and like I really respect his stuff. He does really in-depth deep dives about interesting aspects of pop culture in the 80s, 90s, and the 2000s. He's politics and what was going on at the time. He's a really interesting watch. And he used to have this thing where, like, in the middle of his show, he would stop and remind you to, have some water. Let's have some water together. Stay hydrated. Now, he's literally doing FanDuel or Prize Picks
Yeah, and it
ads.
does
And I'm like,
keep it.
no, we're done.
I get it. You get paid. You get sell. I get all that. But
They are, and they're throwing money at these people.
I just feel like people of Courtney Cox and Lisa Kudrow, I figure, financially there should be fine. At this point, why aren't you picking things that's more... Now, granted, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they blew all their money and they're broke. I'm assuming they're
that's
not.
not it. Here's what it is. And Patton Oswalt has a tendency and an ability to put things in perspective. He told the story one time about how he was paid not a obscene amount of money, not an ungodly amount of money, but a profane amount of money to go do a set at a casino. An hour.
Yeah.
And then they said, if you want to do 30 minutes, that's just fine. So he walked out on stage, and for 30 minutes, he just had people from the audience tell him things that he was in, and he agreed with them and then left.
Yeah. They just want him in the room.
Yeah, it's just to be in the presence of a person.
I know. But it's I feel like when you get to that
why.
point, you gotta, I don't know.
He said, I paid for my child's first year of college.
Yeah, I
for
get all
30
that.
minutes of.
And I get also too, like, and we got to go here in a minute, but like I also know that like back in the day before internet and things, guys like Brad Pitt and stuff were doing these same ads, but you never saw them here.
They were doing them in Japan.
They're in Japan and different places, so,
which is always great.
So I guess it's getting paid thing. It's just I don't know. It's just it seems like seeing the Friends cast doing a thing for a slots game or whatever game it is. I'm just
That's
like
why James Gandolfini is huge in Latvia for something. Like, he did a spot for a fruit soda once in 97.
it's like, come on, Jason Momoa, you're literally on every blockbuster
Dude,
movie right now.
We haven't even talked about it. We don't have time,
Yeah.
but we need to get into Chicken Jockey on the next edition
we
of
will
the
do that.
Mornings with Mike Winters.
All right. Well, we got to go. Have an amazing Easter weekend. Thank you so much for allowing us to be a part of your day. We'll talk to you bright and early Monday morning. You're
Happy
listening-
birthday, Jesus.
There you go. 106.5 Roswell Talk FM KEND.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. The 20-year-old son of a sheriff's deputy opened fire Thursday at Florida State University with his mother's former service weapon, killing 2 people and wounding at least 6 others. At a press briefing, Leon County Sheriff Walt McNeil said they'll handle the case as they would for any other shooting suspect.
This event is tragic in more ways than you people in the audience could ever fathom from a law enforcement perspective. But I will tell you this. We will make sure that we do everything we can to prosecute and make sure that we send a message to folks that this will never be tolerated.
Authorities have not yet revealed a motive for the shooting. The shooter believed to be a Florida State student. Also at townhall.com, the Supreme Court will hear arguments this spring on President Trump's plan to end automatic birthright citizenship. White House correspondent Greg Cluxton reports.
On his first day in office, the president signed an executive order to end birthright citizenship for the children of people who are in the U.S. illegally. That order was halted nationwide by 3 district courts. During arguments on May 15th, the Supreme Court will consider whether those lower court judges exceeded their authority. In the meantime, the president's executive order remains blocked. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Luigi Mangione, the man accused of gunning down United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson outside a Manhattan hotel in December, has been indicted in a New York court on 4 charges, including a count eligible for the death penalty. A grand jury returned the indictment on Thursday in Manhattan federal court. The charges include stalking, murder, and a firearms count. It was not immediately clear when the 26-year-old Mangione will be arraigned. More on these stories